All right. I'm counting this as on time. And maybe 10:01, but you know what, guys? Talmud Tatum. Really? That pops up instantly. Woo!
I have one in the cards.
Hey, thank you, Mark White. I appreciate that. Hopefully you're still in here. I don't know what time you sent that. But I imagine it was at least within the last 10 minutes. That's when I popped the stream up. But yeah, we're going to have... I have plenty of water, sir. Good morning, KBX. How you doing, man? You change your profile pic? Is that a giant... Is that like a hippo with its mouth open or something? I can barely see it. Or is that Godzilla? Oh, it's a gorilla. Oh, gotcha. Gorilla. Oh, I see what you're referencing, sir. I see what you're referencing with that gorilla. You should make the gorilla green. Green and purple. There you go. I know things. Still here, Mark White? Heck yeah, man. Glad to have you here. Samantha Gluck. Holy Cluck. Good to have you here. From Texas. Heck yeah. Thank you for being here. I am going to... here, hold on. I'll take it off full screen for now. This is going to be starting up very, very soon. Very, very, very soon. I guarantee it. So I'm going to try... I have a video I just did. I just got back in from work. I have a thumbnail that I need to make real quick. Everyone make sure to like the video. Thank you so much for that, Denise. Thank you. Hey, Lib Slayer. Good morning. So I'm going to not be able to see chat for just a little bit because I have to upload this video. I'm getting it all uploaded now. This. So quick. That way we can bring people into the live stream too. Advertising the crap out of it. Come up. I got to get this video uploaded early. I was going to upload it at noon like normal, but I think I just want it out there as ASAP, so I'm going to make it 11 a.m. But members will still have the option to see it early. You know what? Maybe... Yeah, I'll put it for 11 right now. If I end up getting this thumbnail done quick, I'll end up releasing it at 10:30. Just simply because of the nature of everything going on today, I got to get this video just uploaded quick. I think I got everything. Thumbnail. All right. So we're going to make a thumbnail. Let's see. We're going to make, make a green and purple themed, highly, saturated in color room of it being destroyed like an adult throwing a fit without people and without words. All right, then I'm going to find a photo of Candace Owens. We're just going to get ridiculous with this. This works. I'm going to make her... Okay, go here, pop up another grok, and then make this lassie crying mad like the Bojack. Dang it. Meme. Bam. Then we'll get that. Let's see where we have here. Yeah, perfect. Heck yeah. This looks like a... Oh, I don't want to copy it. What am I doing? They finally let you just kind of copy this out. All right, so this is how I make my stupid thumbnails, guys. This is so stupid and fast. We'll get 3 layers. I'm going to put this on the bottom layer. Lots of roof, so we can cut down on this. 720. Perfect. Oh, that looks so good, actually. That looks great. Let me full screen this so you guys can fully see what I'm doing. It's really stupid how fast I can make a thumbnail out of nothing. Well, that's not really... Redo this. Crying mad. Like, not just, like, a little somber. Man, make her look like she's furious. You gotta give it. I'm going to pull chat back up now. I don't need crazy. All right.
I didn't see him.
It should update. Wait, what's updating? Oh, you made a... Wow, you made a thumb... Oh, yeah. The purple and... Yeah, good, man. Heck, yeah. I love it, man. That's a good thumbnail. I like it. Yeah, I can see it from here so much better. Yeah, no, that's great. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, you gonna start a, yeah, that works. We'll make this stupid, like, we'll just make this, really dumb. Why not? We'll have some fun with it. Okay, you're gonna be on this layer, Candace. We'll put you on over here. Put her, something like that. Looks like she's too skinny. Barely, it's like that. Yeah, that works. Why is it? Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna be too picky about this. This is a fast thumbnail. All right. Now I gotta make something with me. Won't see this part, but it's fine. Now you'll see that I'm doing this, so you'll see me going like kind of like that way, like something like that. I don't know. Okay, so like. There we go. I don't know, something like that. And then what I do is I'll pull this video on up. You'll see this, actually. And then this is where I screenshot. So I got to do this first. Oh, let's mute this. Okay. Now I look at the camera directly and... Oh, I cut my fingers off. No. That's not okay. Dang it, I got to redo it. I'm dumb. Okay. In frame. Smile. Okay. Long enough. I know, I could probably just take a screenshot somehow, but I'm lazy. I'm dumb. Okay. No, go away. Why does the bar pop up? Why? Man, sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate at all. So, play. There we go. Boom. Perfect. Okay. There we are. Did it. Top layer. Bam. Bam. Done. For the most part. And I shrink myself down because, you know, the main focus is not me. Unlike Candace, you know, who thinks the main focus is all about her, you know, it's called being humble. You know, the topic of the video is all about you, Candace, just the way you wanted it. Is this what you wanted? Is this what you wanted, lass? Oh, I messed up. Dang it. Okay.
No, all good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually have a question.
Good enough.
Yeah, that too. Somebody said they
Dang it.
take upwards.
It's, nope, not 1920. There we go. Perfect. Then we do this. Save as. Candace, Cry, Bunky, Billow. Crack. There. The stupid names. You got to make everything a stupid name so you can't take it too serious. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you just waste your time. Now we go here. We open up the Cyberlink, which is hilarious, right? Hilariously dumb. You just... I might have to jump off this live stream early, by the way. Very good possibility that I have to do that. I can't say why, actually. That'd be a dumb thing to do. But let's just say my wife's work via Colin. Okay, let's see. Put Candace Owens. What? Help me out here, guys. What should I do? What's a good adjective that I could, like, put here? Candace Owens, because I've already done, like, meltdown, stuff like that, you know? Where's the cord at, by the way? Let's make sure. I don't need this. Or actually, I like this. I'll save that. We're still outside the courtroom? Okay. Hearing set to begin soon. It'll be very, very, very soon. Wait, Bard Cole. Wait, who's this guy? Oh, the Leprous Drummer. Ooh, they got the Leprous Drummer here to hear Disturbed for the first time. How? BS that he has not heard Disturbed before. Leprous? Really? As it, yeah, I BS. It's so ridiculous. Anyway, what could I use here? Let's see. I can't put loses it. I can't put, what's a good adjective for this? Or like a good, What's a good synonym for, like, meltdown? You know what? I got it. Maybe it's like... I gotta do this to keep the color. Oh, wait. No, I don't want to do that. See, I gotta... Because I'm lazy, I don't want to change the colors. Okay. Why does it do this? Just show the full image. There we go, so I can find my borders. You know, unlike ice.
Morning, Cora.
Well, I guess like ice. Like ice, I'm finding the border. I could probably do this and it'd be fine. I just don't want to cover up facial features or anything. Yeah. No, it's still good. I might be able to make it to the end. Yeah. That's close enough. It's right there at her chin. Right by the hairs on her chinny chin, Mandis. Billy and Mandis. There we go. Crying candy. Poop. Hey, you can take a poop. Hey, is that a poop? Okay, anyway, I think that's a fine enough thumbnail. Maybe I should have made myself a little bigger. I don't know. I like how there's a paper airplane up here for some reason. That's great. I should have put my head, well, I could have covered this part up. Head right about there. Oh, well, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not super picky. Oh, what else could I do? Like, I guess I got two more. Candace Owens, you know what? I got it. Collapsing. How about that? You like that? Why does it feel like we're in the courtroom? Are we in the courtroom? No, we're not. Dang it. Are we centered here? Yeah. Ah, the top of her head's right there, too. I could probably throw this up over. Collapse. Prolapse. There we go. How about I haven't done this one in a while. Imploding. There we go. That's two alternatives. Imploding. There we go. All right, those are my three. Those are my three right there. I will then drag them on over here. This, and this. Oh, it did I hate it when it does that. It saved it as collapsing, even though it says imploding, so I got to do it again, which is stupid. Imploded us twice. Now let's see if it does it. There we go, imploding. I don't know why it does that. It's so stupid. There we go, got it. All right, cool. Now I could just have this up the whole time. We can now close out of this completely. Don't need it anymore. All right, now we're here on just this, and now you guys will see this. I can shrink myself down a bit. Let's get my... Oh, right. All right, I need to get my live counter. I'll just stick it on over. Doesn't matter. This. Analytics? No. There we go. Of course, I can adjust as needed. And right there. All right, there we go. I don't know why it's so much longer than it. Oh, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. It's fine. It's fine. Looks fine. Everything's fine. Okay, now I gotta finish up this. How are y'all doing? Let me check in on you guys. I got Observer in here. I got Elena. I got Ginny. I got Brush the Creator. I got Angel May. I got Betty Mongolia. We have Shamrock Shanok. Oh, wait. Shamrock Shanrock. I instantly went to Mortal Kombat with that one. I don't know why. Shinnok. Shinnok's going to be in the next movie, too. I cannot wait. We have Straight Talk. Put steam coming off her head. I should have done that. I should have done that, shouldn't I? Dang it. Going off the rails, tailspin. Yeah. Dang it, I should have. Denise. We got Jay. We got Cha-Cha. Heck yeah. Got some great people that I'm not recognizing in, too. That's a great sign. Thank you, guys. We got Laurie. We got, the Dot Bliss. Am I on the beach? Oh, no. It's all this here. I wish I was on the beach. That'd be cool. I've been to the beach twice in my life. One time I actually went into the ocean. I was in the ocean for 10 minutes, and then I got stung by a stingray. That's my life right there. You know what I mean? Hey, we got K-Nable. Heck yeah. We got no G in the crowd. We have DM28. We got Samantha Gluck. Oh, yeah, I called out Samantha Gluck there. We got Cherokee Chick. But you can get another call out there. We have Jenny Rose. All right, I think that's pretty much everyone in chat. We have Cincy. We have Doc Dynamics. Heck yeah. Thank y'all for being in here. You guys are amazing. We're going to get this going on. I cannot wait to hear the ruling today. Hopefully we get it soon before I have to actually jump off this stream. Mainly because, yeah, work be a calling. It's not just my work this time, so I don't have to blame my job this time. It's my wife's job this time. So, there we go. There we go. It's all fairness here. All fairness, all equal. You know, is what it is. Calling us away. Now, okay, let's see. Let's see. This Owens. Why does it not want to like, it never wants to capitalize the O. I don't know if it's my keyboard. No, it does it just fine. I don't know how that happens. Let's see. All right. And time is it? 10:19. Okay, cool. So I will upload it at 11 a.m. Why do I have an additional review up to 24 hours for any of this? Why? Why does YouTube do that randomly? It's just like, oh, we got to do an additional review for 24 hours. Like,
electronic device in the courtroom may be addressed by the court. For those individuals who have a cell phone,
Oh, they muted him. Okay.
They're
going to adjust the audio and blow our ears out, probably.
Proceedings today can proceed without distraction. The court also expects every person in attendance will be treated with the dignity and respect to which they are entitled. Consistent with this court's standing decorum order, all spectators
hey, KBX.
shall
I
remain
appreciate
quiet,
that, KBX.
civil,
Thank you for that
and
$2.
orderly at all
Says you're a good
times.
dude. Well, you're a good dude. Thank
Spectators
you.
shall not engage in conduct that is distracting, disruptive,
Thank you very
provocative,
much.
disrespectful, uncivil, or threatening in any manner. Spectators shall not make audible comments of any kind, shall not shake or nod their heads, and shall not make gestures or of other visible reactions
My gate not
during the
working.
hearing. Spectators shall also not wear or display pins, buttons, signs, clothing, photographs, or other items expressing support for
That's working.
or
It's
in
not
opposition to
sensitive
any
today.
person connected with this case, or expressing any position concerning the status of this case as a capital offense. The court appreciates the cooperation of all present in maintaining a courtroom environment that is safe, respectful, and orderly, and faithful to the rights and dignity of every person involved. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
My understanding
Phoenix.
is
You're dead right.
the parties wish to
Emoji
address
Mom, you
an
too.
issue before we get started. Is that
They were
correct?
definitely Corlock rounds, which is what the
Mr.
video
Novak.
I have uploading coming out. It'll be uploaded here.
Thank you, Your Honor, and good morning.
it's uploaded
I
for
passed
members
up
right
to the
now.
court after
If members want to go watch the video, they
providing
can, by the way.
copies of it to counsel for the state and counsel for the media.
Don't forget to
A
subscribe.
single piece of paper.
Get that number
Does the
up.
court have that?
I do.
can
Thank
do
you,
it.
Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah.
So,
Bishop.
every morning, this court has a colloquy with the camera operators about their ability to comply with this court's orders. And they acknowledge that they understand the order and that they can comply with it. And the court asks them if they have any problem with it, and they state to the court that they do not have a problem with it. We also spent
that's
many,
probably
many,
why the
many
judge is doing what
hours
he's
of court
doing.
time addressing which exhibits will and will not be published through the
Can you guys
electronic
hear them?
media. And this exhibit, the court ordered would not be published through the electronic media, and it was. And without belaboring the point, the court can imagine our concern that the media and the state who control this exhibit and the publication of this exhibit in the courtroom as per the court's orders failed to comply with this court's orders after all of the effort that we made and the court made to make sure that the court balanced everybody's rights, including the rights that we're concerned about, which are Mr. Robinson's. No doubt the counsel for the media and counsel for the state will say that it was a very, very brief mistake, that it was corrected as soon as they realized
Was it a brief
the
mistake,
error.
kind of like pulling a
But it's
trigger
done.
and ending
It's out
somebody's
there.
life?
It's photographed. I'm informed secondhand that if I want to buy this image and maybe even have it framed and put behind museum quality glass, I can do so and put it up in my office.
Oh,
Obviously,
wow.
I'm
Why
not
would
gonna
you do
that.
that?
But my
You could just
point
get it
is,
printed yourself for free.
It doesn't
idiot.
matter how long the court's order was violated. When we live in an electronic world, it's done and it's permanent. And we just wanted the record to be clear that we're concerned that the court's orders have been violated, and they've been violated with respect to an order that was specifically designed to protect Mr. Robinson's right to a fair trial. And I don't want to belabor the point any further. I'm also
The
not
full
going to
letter
refer
has
to the
been
exhibit
published.
with any more specificity because it's not necessary.
The full letter's been
Is
published.
there a requested remedy or potential sanction that you feel is warranted given the actions which you have outlined this morning?
I think that we would like to think, when I say we, I mean Mr. Robinson's counsel, about that. We have, as the court knows, repeatedly asked this court, moved this court, not to have electronic broadcast of this proceeding,
Get bent.
of any of the proceedings, and specifically this proceeding. The court denied those motions and overruled our objections to the specific EMC requests. So I think it's a little premature, but I can represent to the court that we will suggest a remedy in advance of the next hearing.
Well, Mr. Novak, I appreciate that, but I would ask that if it is something that is concerning, that it be addressed immediately. So I'm not going to wait until this. I recognize and appreciate what you have described, and this was on my mind a lot last night as well.
Okay.
I don't want to sit on this. So I ask you respectfully to confer with your counsel and come up with that, because I want to address it. I agree. It is concerning, and it warrants examination and to be addressed immediately, especially
Cool.
as
His
we
letter
have a
was
little
published.
bit
The
left
letter
of our
that we
preliminary
already have the
hearing.
full
So I
transcript
want
for.
to give it the weight it is needed, and I don't disagree with you.
Then why don't we beg the court's indulgence? We don't need to empty the courtroom. We can go talk about what we think an appropriate measured sanction would be, and we can bring that suggestion back to the court in a few minutes.
All right. Well, before we do that, I want to turn to the state and to the media to
Give
address
them a-
what you've
give them a
addressed.
chance.
And then obviously,
The prosecution
if there's a
better
part
say
two,
the transcript
then
for this whole
refer
letter's
And I
out.
appreciate the
If
invitation,
nothing was
and I
revealed.
also appreciate the court's desire to address the consequences, if any, immediately.
Thank you, Mr.
I was not
Novak.
trying to delay it. I just think it's a it's an issue which warrants some thought. The court has said it gave it some thought. We will have a suggestion very briefly.
Thank you. Turning to the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think at the outset it's important to recognize that everyone's doing their best here. The court is, I know the clerks are, I think the media is, we certainly are, and the defense is. This issue came up in the context of an examination of a witness. One exhibit was published. Before the exhibit at issue was also brought onto the screen, I explained what we were going to do, and then the exhibit was brought onto the screen. I reviewed the video last night. The camera captured this for approximately 2 seconds. The camera operator, I think acting in diligence and appropriateness, immediately panned as soon as she realized that there was a new exhibit on the screen. The court took it down, and as soon as they realized that an exhibit was on the screen, I immediately instructed my paralegal to take it down, and it was. Defense, I think everyone involved here made quick and appropriate efforts as soon as they realized a mistake had been made to remedy and mitigate that issue. As I explained what I was what we were going to do, defense counsel did not object as that happened. And the reason I bring that up is because of the requirement for timely objections. Moreover, I do want to say this exhibit was read into the record. It was allowed to be read into the record earlier. It is also in an earlier pleading, which is the information. This portion of that exhibit, I understand, is in the information. And it is largely cumulative of Exhibit 16 and 16.1, which were previously admitted into evidence and published to the media. Finally, we are going to be dealing with a lot of publicity when it comes to media coverage, and I think that's really where the remedy is going to be addressed. I understand there may be a remedy that can be fashioned today to prevent this kind of thing going forward or going on in the future in this hearing, but I think ultimately that's where this will be addressed. Any other questions from me, Your Honor?
Well, not at this time. I will afford you the opportunity, obviously, to respond when defense comes back. I want to weigh this and taking in consideration, and I find your representations to be accurate as to what occurred. I believe that I noticed it and asked for it to be taken down because I have a live stream.
Why are we not talking about the fact that this is his letter from under the keyboard?
The sequence,
which
I believe
has
I made
the transcript
note, and
for
if
it
I'm
has
wrong, please
already
correct me.
been pushed.
Long for past days, but
I don't understand.
that's the only addition that I find to the representation.
What's the point?
And certainly, Mr. Novak, feel free to correct it if you believe the sequence was any different. I just want to make sure a clear record is being made of what happened in order for whatever happens next to be appropriate and proportional to the actions that occurred.
No, and that's consistent with my memory, and I also reviewed the video, the live stream as well, in preparation for this issue today. So that's exactly what I think happened. From my perspective, examining the witness, I did not have a view of what was being published to the public and the media, and so I think the court immediately, as soon as it recognized that, brought that to everyone's attention.
Thank you, Mr. McBride. To the media.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Appreciate the opportunity to be here to speak on behalf of the media. I think our understanding of what happened is consistent with what both the defense and the state have said here. So I don't want to belabor that point. But here's how I understand them. There's two exhibits at issue. Those exhibits were used yesterday in part because the juxtaposition of those two exhibits might have provided some sort of benefit to the court. The first of those exhibits was asked to be published through all three of the court's phases. The court said it will be admitted into evidence, be shown in the courtroom, it will not be shown on the cameras. That happened about 3 hours into the hearing. That all went smoothly and well.
I just
that
don't get
operated
it.
exactly
What's the
as
issue?
it is intended to. That requires the participation of everyone, the court, the defense, the state, media, camera operator, all to do that well. Later in the day, When in the video I reviewed, this was about 5 hours into the runtime yesterday. The second exhibit that was going to be compared side by side was introduced. That also went through that three-step process. In that case, the court said that that could be admitted into evidence, shown to the court, and then also shown on the cameras. So it was put on the courtroom cameras. At that point, there was what I think is a useful practice by the camera operator to wait a beat, because sometimes mistakes do happen, right? In that case, though, that was authorized. So the camera then panned to the screen, which is set up specifically for the camera operator to be able to capture that. Examination on that exhibit began. Then, because the examination seemed to call for that juxtaposition, without much warning for anyone involved, the previous exhibit that was intended to be juxtaposed was placed on the screen. From, I think, a observer's view who didn't know where the testimony was going without warning. The camera operator, I think quite astutely, within seconds, recognized this is a different exhibit. And recalling the court's prior order, recognized I should pan off, and did within seconds. I think at the time that was happening, the court also caught that and said, let's not do that. Now, and that was the end of it. I think the 2 seconds is about right. I don't want to minimize that. I understand the point that Mr. Novak is making. We are operating in some ways on high wire. And we are trying to place as many nets as we can, and all the parties are working together to try to do that.
I agree.
But
All
in the
the
age
evidence
in
should
which
be
we
public.
live,
It
one
will
of the
be public,
challenges
though,
is
during
that
the
sometimes
trial,
when
so I
something
get
like
it.
that is placed
Right.
on a live stream,
We've
someone can
already got
screenshot
more
it,
than enough
and like
probable
Mr.
cause.
Novak
The judge
said, if
could
they
rule
want
right
to
this second.
put that for sale on the internet, then they can. That's
would you sell it? It's
working
public.
together to ensure that even small mistakes like that don't happen is critical. And the media has the media coalition that are given the opportunity and the
Anyone stupid enough to
benefit of
buy
being
that
able to be here to
image,
run cameras and
then
to take photographs
they deserve
have
the loss
complete
of money
buy-in
that
on
comes
that
with it.
point. There are, of course, people out there watching a live stream that are not part of our coalition that we can't control, and that's why it's so
Hello.
important that we get
Yeah,
these
that's
pieces
me.
right. I do want, without going too far into the evidence, to note not only that several lines of this exhibit are available publicly in the information, but that the full text, every word of that exhibit is contained in a search warrant, in this case, that was initially filed on September 17th. This is in the 4th District, but in a different court. Was held for 6 months, as search warrants often are, but then on March 17th, March 16th, March 17th, was released in full. On page 7 of that search warrant is the full text of this exhibit. I don't want to suggest that anybody gets the right to say, well, I think it's public. The court has said don't show it in the screen, but since I think it is, we'll just come back later on and tell the court it's not a big deal because it's already public. That's not how it works. If we say we think it's in the public, the court says, I understand that, but I'm going to make an order. That order should be adhered to. But I do, for the purposes of prejudice, for potential remedy, for the court's concern and the court's sleepless nights, I do want the court to know that as well. And members of our coalition have pointed out to me as we've talked about this, while we take this very seriously, it is true in this case that the full text of that, not the image of the exhibit itself, but the full text is already in the public sphere, has been reported on, and is out there. I only want to reinforce, to close, the recognition that the media, our coalition, I, as an attorney for that coalition, have an obligation to make sure that mistakes don't get made. And in this case, even though I believe that the camera operator didn't act in violation of the court's decorum order, didn't do something that was forbidden by that there was an order that said, don't publish this exhibit. And because it flashed on the screen when the camera operator was filming that screen, that did happen. The media is fully bought in. I, as one of the attorneys and the other attorneys for the media coalition, are fully bought in on a goal to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen. Of course, I understand Mr. Novak and the defense's need to make a record and make an objection. And I also recognize and appreciate and understand the court's role in trying to make sure it imposes whatever sort of direction, caution, sanction, response that it believes is needed to make sure that its orders are recognized and adhered to. And I want the court to know that we will understand that and will comply with whatever it is that the court orders.
Thank you. Anything further before we break? Mr. Novak?
We don't need a break.
Okay. Well,
The court wants a break.
I want to review this. I'm sure there is a stream out there. I want to look at it again in order to appreciate the full effect and exposure. I remember it, but given the nature of this and trying to weigh the constitutional rights of all parties, I want to be thorough and look at it exactly. So as we move forward, as I evaluate what's being requested by the parties, that I am at the level of knowledge, and because for what it is, it was on screen. I want to look at it, how long, what exactly was on screen, and in order to be at the point of saying, okay, I fully understand. I mean, I was here, I saw it, I noticed it on the screen, but again, I want to take that extra 2 minutes to review that.
I'm not suggesting that we rush through this at all. I just wanted the court to understand that our request for the remedy
I'm
and
so
the
irritated
sanction,
with this.
we are prepared
This
to
letter has
share
been
that with
public
the
for
court, but we
months.
can certainly wait
Who
until the court has
cares
had
that it
an
was shown in
opportunity
court?
to review whatever the court thinks it needs to review. The permanence of this violation of the court order is a different issue from how long it took to correct the violation. It's a permanent consequence.
Yeah.
In other words, that image is out there
There's no
forever and
consequence,
ever
though.
in violation of the court's order.
Argue
No
how
matter
it's a
what.
consequence.
Actions the court, the state, and the media took
What
to remedy
was
it,
the harm?
because that's the
Who was harmed by
technological world
this?
we live
The letter's been public for
So,
months.
That's my response, if I may, to the arguments. But we can hold our suggestion until the court's ready for it.
All right. If the parties feel it'd be helpful to confer while the court is reviewing it, you may, just so that if you choose to, I encourage it. If you don't, I respect that. A court's going to take about 5 minutes. Again, I just want to review it, to be brought up to full speed and just to have it freshly in my mind.
I'm going to make one more point, if I may, and that is this is not the first time that this has happened. We had earlier proceedings in this case where the cameras depicted images inside the courtroom that the court had prohibited, and
Okay, well,
the
then how
court,
about this? How about this?
imposed certain
Very
consequences
simple thing.
on the media as a result of
They
that.
do not, the image does not come up on the
and
big
so
monitor.
that's,
It comes up on the judge's monitor
something to
first.
keep in mind.
There you go.
In my-
Then he can vet
in
it
my
and
mind.
say,
Thank
yes,
you.
go ahead
All
and
right,
throw it
before
up.
the court
How
takes
hard
a
is
5-minute
that?
recess and
Is this
review
really-
this,
do we need to
does any
litigate
party
this?
Need the benefit of the record based off the dialogue between me and Mr. Novak. All right, not seeing any party respond. The court's in recess. We'll come back at 9:45. Court is in a brief recess.
It's so easy. All the judge has to do is just simply be like, okay, well, from now on, it comes up on my screen first. I will look at it and say, yes, this can go up on the big screen. Why is this so complicated? Why is this so complicated? Why are we taking a break? Why are we wasting time? All the judge has to do is say, I need to see it first now. Just put it on my screen. It is so unbelievably easy. That's how you fix all of it. Okay, well, from now on, we don't put the evidence on the big screen first. It goes to my screen first, and then I will say, yes, go ahead and put it on the big screen, or I will say, no, it does not go on the big screen. What a waste of time. How dumb are these people that they can't just think of that on the spot? It's not difficult. Just now it has to go through an extra layer of authentication. It's just that. That's it. That's all. Violet Wings, the defense is trying to anything and everything to counter the protection. So petty, yeah. Yeah, they are. Glad to have 214 people in here. Heck yeah. If everybody hits a like right now on that like button, I guarantee you we probably get to 400 people in here at one time. That would be awesome. Thank y'all so much for being in here. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get this to 30,100 like right now. I'm hoping we could do that. That'd be super cool. I only need 12 people. 12 people who are not subscribed. And if you're watching this and you don't have a YouTube account, you should create a YouTube account. Look, I don't want to sit here and advertise for YouTube hardcore, right? But think about all the people that you'll get notifications from. It's not just me. You help out so many YouTube creators just by simply creating an account. Yeah, I mean, it's just that simple, you know? So, thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Abe Dinkus, how's it going, bud? It's going great. How you doing, man? Life with Persians. See the evidence at the trial, not in preliminary? Heck yeah. Pretty much. Like, or that, yeah, they could just say that. I guess they could just do that. But, I mean, we've already seen more than enough evidence. I don't need to actually see any more evidence myself. We already know that he got, you know, the bullets that were used. We know that we have seen the evidence of the fragments. We've seen the video. We've seen everything else. Nothing else really needs to be presented. The only thing I'm interested in seeing at all anyway is just the medical examiner and their, like, full explanation on it. That's really it. That's really all. Like, it's just so easy. It's so easy. Like, this should be over. Already, we have more than enough probable cause that Tyler Robinson did it to move forward with the actual trial. There's no way he doesn't rule that there's not enough evidence. It's not even possible. Not even close to possible. So, are they starting late again? No, they just went on break, Grits. They just went on break after just coming on. It's irritating. Woo, got another sub. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you all so much. Don't forget to hit that like button. We hit that like button. We get like 200 likes. 224 likes right now. We'll end up getting like 200 plus people in here, I think. 200 plus extra. So that'd be super cool. Wow, we have 144 likes in here right now. Okay, you guys are insane. You guys are getting right on it. Jeez. I know so many audiences who won't even bother. Like, I watch so many channels where they're like, oh, hit that like button, and the likes just go up by like 5 or 6 likes. But you guys just are like, yeah, let's get it. You guys' energy's incredible. Every one of you guys are just freaking awesome. So, you know, thank you all so much for being here, genuinely. I don't care that my audience is small. I have the best audience on YouTube. There's just not even debating that, you know. Deborah, for the $10, thank you so much. Thanks for being as annoyed as I am by this. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot to be annoyed by with this court, to be honest. They're wasting time for no reason. No reason, you know? Oh, you got me that sub, Mama Bear? You got your husband to do it? Heck yeah, thank you to Mr. Owlbear there. Seriously. Shout out to him. You got yourself a good man. D. Hampton, how about the defense attorney said to Erica Kirk? Wait, what? Did I miss that? Did he say something? Oh, well, I guess his comments about Erica Kirk yesterday were very rude, in my opinion. Very, very rude, because he was trying to put his client's interest above, you know, the victim, which is a little insane. Actually, not even a little insane. That was totally insane to do. Totally insane to do. Felt he was a Canaanite. Let's see. What did the defense team say to Erica? It was more or less like they were like, well, we understand what Erica Kirk wants, but that would violate my client's rights type situation. And it was just like he was trying to withhold evidence from the victim's family and making arguments on it. It was just a rude way to go about it in general, because he lost the ruling anyway. He knew he was going to lose that ruling, but he still decided at that moment in time to put Tyler Robinson's needs above the victim's needs, and that's never a good look. It's never a smart thing to do. Especially when they're like, look, we're going to... Oh, are they already coming back? Huh, we'll find out. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't a smart thing to do. It wasn't a sensitive thing to do, which you should be very sensitive, especially as a defense attorney. You should be very, very, very sensitive to the victims no matter what. Because even if your client didn't do it, that doesn't mean you get to, like, kind of call out the client and be like, look, they don't need to be privy to this right now. Or, you know, go against their, not finishing that R. No, you don't. Man, I would ban that person instantly. What is the AP doing? They need AP needs moderators. They have 4 million subscribers and no moderators. Isn't that insane? Let's see. I'll have to go back and really review that too. I may make a video over it too. We'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, thank y'all so much for being here. How many likes are we sitting at right now? 165 likes. Wow, you guys are awesome. Thank y'all so much. All right. Yep. This is the star of the show right here. As I'm weeding through the jungle, the mighty warthog comes by. The razorback. It's just so stupid. Ooh, man. This guy might have less gray hairs than I do. This, by the way, this isn't a gray hair. I've been with this for my entire life right here. That's my weird streak that goes through my hair. Interesting, right? It's actually, it looks like it's dirty blonde, but believe it or not, it's not. It's clear. I don't have any pigmentation in that hair at all. Let's see if I can grab one of these suckers. Hopefully none of the... Yeah, here we go. This is a good one. This is not gray. This is... Ow. That one there, good. This is a totally clear hair. Not even kidding. It is without pigmentation because there's a scar on my head from when I was born. I don't have any memory of it. And it's not a bad scar or anything like that. I had a full head of hair when I was born, and I was kind of stuck up. You know, I was refusing to come out of my mom pretty much. And so they reached in and put a little screw into my head to monitor my heart rate because they thought I was twisted in a different way or something and that I wasn't able to come out. And it turns out it was just a false alarm. Nothing crazy. So anyway, they, whenever they took the thing out of my head, I guess it just left a scar. And they said it would probably leave a bald spot. Well, apparently my hair decided no bald spot at all. It just grew through the scar tissue. But it's clear. It comes out completely clear. Eventually, though, you won't be able to see it anymore when my hair goes completely gray, which is what it's doing. My hair is going full gray. I should be fully gray-headed probably by the time I'm 35. Runs in my family. We just go gray very, very fast. But the good news is our hair stays. I don't get bald. Even whenever I was given an artificial bald spot, my hair decided, no, not going bald. Crazy, right? So anyway, back when I was a kid and I had short hair, my nickname was Spot because you could just see this spot of like what looked like blonde hair growing out of my head. And then I grew my hair out and it turned into this. And yeah, nobody gave me a nickname for that, I guess. So there's that. So yeah, just a weird little thing. It's common too. A lot of people, I knew a dude that had it growing out of the front of his head. He was in my school for about a year and then I don't know what happened to him. And I don't remember his name at all either. But a lot of people end up having this happen. So crazy. People used to think I dyed my hair too when I grew my hair out. And I was like, nothing's changed. I was like, I had the blonde spot on my head. Daycare teachers would always point it out. They're like, what's on your head? They'd show it. They're like, why is your hair like that? You know, just was what it was. It's crazy. 33 and getting gray? Heck yeah, Ashley Wynn. Same here. 33 and getting gray. I'll be 34 here in just a... How long is it? Let's see. We're in July now, so August, September, October, November. 4 months. 4 months, I'll be 34. I appreciate that, Shamrock. If there's one thing I've had, it's my hair. Just, there's that. Yes, Stripe. At least people didn't call me Streak or Streaker or something like that. That'd be awful. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, they just, yeah. They just left it out. They left it alone after that. Your brother-in-law started getting gray hair at 18? Yeah. I got my first gray hair at the age of 24. 24. I'm getting them in my beard now, too. I had, like, 3 gray hairs, like, a year ago. And I was like, wow, and now I have, like, 10. So that's happening. We'll see. I'll be fully gray or white head. I hope it goes white instead of just gray. That would be... Wee bit Irish. I'm half Irish. Yeah. Half Irish, half Native American. My aunt went fully gray, though, at, like, 26. So and my mom also was like fully gray by the time she was 40. And so it's like, yeah, I'm probably like right there in the middle. I'll probably be fully gray at like 35 or so, you know. Yeah, crazy how it works. Genetics are wild, you know. Just now joined at Avenge? Heck yeah. Well, hopefully we're in the middle of some bad news right now. We're right in the middle of them litigating as to what the punishment should be for them showing the stupid letter that's been public for like 9 months. And we're litigating like, oh, well, what should the punishment be? And it's like, how about the punishment is that the judge gets to just review the evidence on his screen before it can go on the big screen. Be very easy to do that, you know? Dang, you got gray hair when you were 18. Crazy. Crazy. I was lucky enough, I guess, not to do that. Or, I don't know, it doesn't matter to me. I don't actually care if my hair goes gray at all. Doesn't bother me in the least bit, so it's like, you know? I'm the only one who is in my family who hasn't had a hair change, pretty much. Like, my sister's hair started off bright blonde, and now it's going into darker brown and whatnot. My hair has been pretty much the same color from birth. So, there's that. I've only ever dyed my hair one time, and I was 13, I believe. It was hilarious. I dyed mine jet black, and then Kai got the wrong color of hair. He went blue-black. Never forget that. That was hilarious. And then after that, we were like, yeah, this sucks. Like, it just, I don't know. The whole process sucked. Yeah, it was just crazy. I'm the same age as your son? Heck yeah. Shout out to your son, being 33. Does he turn 34 in November? 34, wow, still a baby. I'll be 51 this year. I have a 16-year-old and 10-year-old. Heck yeah. Ooh, you're living life rough. I got a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old. That's where I'm at in life. And boy, is it like coming out. Okay, so check this out. I've learned there was always the myth of the terrible 2s. No, it's called the terrible 3 and 4s. Once you're out of 4 years old, not even a problem. Not even a problem. So there's that. 47, not one gray hair yet. Wow, good for you, actually. That's crazy. Yeah, some people just don't have they just don't go gray hardly at all. Yeah, there's a 65-year-old man in the gym who has very light gray hair, and I'm just like, how? Like, what have you done to do that? And he's like, no idea. Just good genetics on the hair. Got a 4 and an 8. Woo, man. That's crazy. So glad I'm not the only older mom with a 44 with 16. Yeah, we're also older, too, for having our kids. Like, we had our first kids at the age of 27. 27 and 29. Son's birthday's November 20th. Nice. He will be 34. Heck yeah. Yeah, he should be at the end of being a Scorpio. What day does Scorpio end? What day is end of Scorpio? I think it's the 22nd. 21st. So yeah, he's barely at the end of being a Scorpio there. I think the Scorpio is the coolest of all the star signs. No bias, you know. Let's see. We started having kids at 22. Can't believe you have a 30-year-old. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I guess that's where my parents are right now. They probably can't believe we're the age we are now, too. It's wild. My younger sister managed to squeeze out her kid like 5 months before we got ours, you know? It's like, now how did that happen? But it's hilarious because like my sister's oldest is only like 5 months older than my oldest, and her youngest is only 3 weeks older than my youngest. So, crazy how that works. So we have 4 girls, all 4 of them, and they're all right there at the same age. So talk about them growing up really, really close to each other, you know? Been married 49 years and have white hair since you turned 40. And that is wild. Let's see. Sagittarius for November 25th. Yeah. Yeah, my buddy, one of my best friends, his birthday is November 27th. I am 7 days older than him. He got to skip an entire grade, and he's like 3 feet taller than me. It's freaking ridiculous. And he's a way better guitarist than me. Way better. Like, his skills, you guys would crap yourselves. I wouldn't doubt it if he's one of the absolute top players in Oklahoma, to be honest. He is insanely skilled. Scorpio, November 5th? Heck yeah. I have, let's see, one of my, oh yeah, remember the 5th of November. Good birthday. One of my good friends also is November 4th. My cousin is November 3rd. We got quite a few Novembers. I love pulling up the celebrity birthdays there. Oh, my mic. Do you want me to turn my microphone up? Is my microphone too quiet? Or is it because I'm talking at an angle? I don't know. It looks good on the meter. Telling how wholesome your chat. Yeah, chat's awesome. Like I said, I got the best. I have the best audience. I don't know how I did it. Oh, come on. Why are we wasting so much time to such a simple solution of the judge just simply being like, okay, all evidence filters through me 100% now. It's just that simple. Your mom had her 8th child at 38. I am jealous. I want 4. I want 4 kids. I only got 2. But there's just no way feasibly, like financially, we could have 4 at the moment. Hopefully, channel takes off. Get my wife out of her garbage job, and that'll be good enough. And hopefully that happens that way. I can tell you this. For sure, if the channel takes off before next year, we are having another child. If the channel can somehow make it to like 100,000 before next year, before 2027, 100% we will have another kid. You got 4 boys? Oh, Becca, that's awesome. Dang. 4 boys. I hope I don't end up with just 4 girls. Like, I won't be sad, but I would like a boy in there. You know what I mean? I would definitely like to have a boy in there. I think it's fair. I want to experience, like, I got 2 girls. I think 2 boys ought to come next, in my opinion. That way I can have 50-50, Oh, I appreciate that, Betty. I love my kids. They're awesome. Your 5th boy is your adult child. Is he the most, is he the actual responsible one? That's funny. Gotta love kids. Age is just a number. Well, you're correct, but also definitely there's a line. It's called underage versus overage. Other than that, yeah, age is just a number. But, underage is underage. And so we keep it on that side. You know what I mean? Unlike Hassan Piker, who seems to think that, apparently to him, age really is just a number and there's no line. Oh, I appreciate that, Whitney. I appreciate that. I wish I had more time with them, I wish I wasn't working outside of this channel. You know what I mean? It'd be great to just be like this, then kids and wife, Definitely want to take them out in the woods a lot more often. They love that. There's nothing more fun to them than hiking out through the woods. And, well, of course, and going to splash pads and that stuff. But, I mean, that's every kid, Can't wait till they're old enough to go to some, like, crazy, like, water parks and whatnot. That'll be fun, 40,000 subs, come here. Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully. Man, Agra Jagger, you've been here for a long time, haven't you? You're the same person I think you are. You've been here for quite a while. Pretty sure that you've heard Novak and Bert are the defense attorneys from California. They are. Wait, they defended the Menendez brothers? I don't know if they did O.J. Simpson. There's like a super rare basketball card that's got the Menendez brothers in the background. It makes the card worth a lot. It's not even, has nothing to do with the guy who's on the front of the card either. He's not like very worth much money himself. Could you imagine if the Menendez brothers were sitting behind like Michael Jordan or something when that picture was taken? How much money would that card be worth? It'd be like $1 billion card probably. That'd be like the ultimate basketball card ever, but that didn't happen clearly, so there's that. What do we got here? What was I going to look up just now? Someone put something in my head. Hey, no problem at all, Shamrock. Thank you for being here. Glad to have you still here. Okay, good, Agra Jagger. Yeah, I thought so. I thought you'd been here for a while. Good to have you here, man. Let's see. What else we got? Where was it? Oh, yeah. Did Tyler Robinson's Please defend Menendez brothers. Michael Burt, who served as co-counsel for Lyle Menendez during his first criminal trial. Okay. So, yeah. Michael Burt specifically did counsel for Lyle Menendez. So one of the brothers. Let's do O.J. Simpson. I don't know if they defended O.J. Simpson. No, they did not defend the O.J. Simpson. No, they did not defend O.J. Simpson at all. Michael Burt, Richard Novak, and Stacey Ovett. Okay. O.J. Simpson's defense team were famously defended in 1995 murder by his dream team, which consisted of Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey, Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz is very famous. Robert Kardashian. Oh. I had no idea Kardashian ended up defending him. I think I've heard of that, though, but I didn't know it was with OJ. I knew Robert Kardashian was an attorney, though. Barry Scheck, Peter Newfield, Robert Blazer, and Carl Douglas. Okay. So, none from O.J. Simpson, but yes, one of them did defend one of the Menendez brothers. That's pretty wild. That's a pretty wild situation there. Oh, for sure. We definitely want to have another. Let me put it this way for the most part. It's not so much financially in this moment. I'll clarify this. My wife has an autoimmune disease, and her job takes every bit of energy out of her to the point where 2 kids is like rough. You know what I mean? Really rough. And then on top of me going to work too, she's drained. She doesn't have the energy to keep up with a newborn at the moment with the 2 kids. That's kind of the big issue for the most part. And in order to get her that relief, I guess you could say, that amount of energy, she would pretty much have to quit her job, which we're just not in that position. You know what I mean? That's kind of the big issue. So once we're able to, because time will definitely help as well. Over time, more debt gets paid off. She could start stepping away from those positions, go down to part-time, and then that becomes a lot more possible too. But we're talking about we're just impatient. We want to do it now. You know what I mean? The thing about it is if we end up in a situation where 3 years from now, we'll be 37. That's kind of the deadline for us for kids for the most part. We should be I'm hoping we'll be able to have a 3rd. My whole thing is I want a 4th. And in order to get a 4th to happen, that has to all happen before 37 for the most part. But hopefully the 3rd, no matter what. We have a plan for the 3rd to come no matter what. But yeah, that also really lowers my chances for a boy, though. Unfortunately, though, there's actually a really, really high chance, no matter what, that even if we have 4 or 5 kids, they all turn out to be girls because our first 2 turned out to be girls. And so I guess the statistic on that goes higher and higher. For the 3rd kid, it's a 60% chance of it being a girl. For the 4th kid, it's a 70% chance. And for a 5th, it's a 90% chance that would turn out to be a girl as well, if it holds. You know what I mean? So... yeah, no, the fatigue is really, really extra bad because her fatigue, when she gets too fatigued, her entire immune system goes crazy and it comes into joint pain, sickness, sore throat, just every bit of awfulness you could imagine. That's essentially what happens. Unfortunately, she needs to, at this point in time, if we were to have a 3rd one, there's just no way that she could continue to work and have a 3rd kid. It just would not be possible. Even if financially we were there, if she was still working, it's flare-ups, exactly. The flare-ups they're bad. They suck. They're bad. So there's just not much around that. And that's just what's unfortunate, 6 boys in a row and 4 more girls. Holy cow. Dang.
Seated. Court is back in session.
That is
noting the
wild
presence
there,
of counsel
Bart.
and all parties.
You guys got
And
a
where we
lot of
left off
kids.
as the court took a
I'm jealous.
a recess to review the video, and I appreciate the patience of the parties as well as everyone.
You didn't
in
even need to review
attendance
the video.
when it comes to constitutional matters and balancing constitutional rights and transparency. This court will take the necessary time to make sure it's given the weight it deserves, and it is deserving of every
That's so
moment that
hot.
has been spent. Mr. Novak, turning to you. And perhaps before you begin, let me go ahead and make a record of what I noted that is at issue.
I'm sorry that your daughter's
And
going through that,
after I
Mochi Mom.
put
That
this on the
sucks.
record, certainly if
Do you know what she
either
has?
side wishes to be heard about the court's understanding, I welcome your comments. Exhibit 24 was displayed on the monitor visible to the media camera. Exhibit 16 was displayed on all monitors and appeared on the live stream for approximately 3.5 seconds. The camera operator redirected the camera before any party called attention to the display of Exhibit 16.
Good on the camera
Approximately
operator.
16 seconds later, the court observed the image and stated, "Let me stop you, Mr. McBride. I'm not sure. Is this being broadcast?" Mr. McBride responded, "Let's take that down." The full text of Exhibit 16 had previously been made public through a search warrant that was publicly available on
Agreed,
or
Brusha.
before April
Heck yeah.
2026. The portion displayed on the monitors did not contain the full note and consisted of approximately 78 words. Approximately 15 of those words were included in the information filed on September 16th, 2026.
Sjogren's with rheumatoid
In
arthritis.
addition, the full note was read into the record during the preliminary hearing. The court previously ordered that Exhibit 16 be admitted into evidence and permitted its display within the courtroom, but prohibited its publication through the camera used for the live stream. And that concludes the findings of the court as it relates to this issue. Do the parties wish to be heard before we go into what you're requesting about the record on what occurred?
Your Honor, your recitation is accurate. My earlier comments were based on my memory of reviewing this last night. In the recess, I reviewed the feed again, and what you have said today is accurate.
Thank you. Mr. Novak, any?
No, Your Honor, I don't take issue with the court's factual summary.
All right. Turning to you, Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're going to renew our request to exclude all electronic media coverage from all
you're
future
such a
proceedings.
whiny
That
little
was our motion,
punk.
docketed at number 305, and that included video cameras, still
Wham.
photography.
We don't
and
want
audio.
video cameras because something that was
This
already
is the
public
second
got
time
shared publicly.
That
What a little
the court's
baby.
orders concerning
How dare
the
you.
scope of electronic media coverage have been violated. I'm a baseball fan, and I just don't think the court needs to wait for the third strike. 2 strikes is enough. If I
Tough.
may, the alternative remedy, which we think is not wholly adequate, which is why we think it's an alternative and a less desirable alternative, is for this court to
Oh, it's being
both,
live streamed on the AP.
reverse its prior order authorizing electronic media coverage of today's hearing, which we had previously filed an objection to after the court, I would say preliminarily granted the requests for today. That was sort of the chain of events. And that the court proactively preclude
So, Lori, we actually don't know.
electronic
She
media
didn't get the,
coverage, at the last day of the preliminary hearing, which will be September 1st. Now, I understand that there has not yet been a request for electronic media coverage for September 1st.
Let's
but
hear
there
this
is no
first.
doubt that there will be, just as this court previously observed that it wasn't prepared to preclude electronic media coverage at the preliminary hearing because there had not been any requests. There were requests, and those that were timely were all granted. The court denied one request because it was not timely for one particular day.
they also
So,
gave you the leeway
I guess the way
when you
it would
weren't
be
timely
is
and granted your request.
any request for electronic media coverage of September 1st will be denied because that's the appropriate sanction for what happened yesterday.
No,
The fact
it's not.
that
There's
the
no need
content
for
of the
punishment on
exhibit
something that's
was
public.
previously summarized by the state in certain documents which became public because the state didn't take any actions to seal them beyond the 6-month period. The fact that the contents of the exhibit were read in open court is not the issue. The issue is
Hey,
when the
Steampunk.
court issues an order, everybody must comply with it, and there are reasons for the order. And the reasons, as this court stated, are to protect Mr. Robinson's right to a fair trial. So no doubt that the court balanced those prior ways in which the content of this exhibit had already been disclosed when the court
you're so full of
decided
crap.
that there would not be electronic media coverage. That's a fact that we have all known of that exhibit. That's a fact that we've all been aware of as we've gone along. So to summarize, and then I will stop because I know we still have a witness here, and of course the court needs to hear from the state and counsel for the media, I suspect, is we would like the court to reconsider its order denying motion 305 and grant it for the balance of all of the proceedings in this matter. Or as an alternative, the court prohibit any further electronic media coverage of the preliminary hearing, which includes September 1st.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Novak.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Turning to the
Now tell him.
state and then
Now
to the
tell Mr.
media.
Novak where he can shove it.
Yes, Your Honor, as to the remedy, we've heard of instances where the media has been able to delay publication of the recordings of the proceedings.
Jeez, this
We've heard
keeps
of
getting quieter.
instances where that has been a short delay of like 30 seconds. I've talked to the media attorney about this, and they do not have the capability to do that right now. My suggestion would be for future proceedings to order the media to look into that capability, and that would be a remedy that perhaps could be used in the future. I think that would be a satisfactory remedy to avoid this type of thing in the future. As to the other remedies requested, we have one witness. The final witness, well, the defense has one witness.
Cannot
That
believe we're
witness
wasting
is
so
a
much time talking about
ATF
this.
DNA forensic biologist, and I assume that the exhibits that will be admitted through her will be of that nature. We've already, in fact, admitted the report that she is going to be testifying to. The reports, I should say, that's exhibits 30 and I believe 34. And so I don't think we have, and those have already been published, I don't think we have the same risks or, I'll just say risks with her testimony as we do with some of this other evidence that has already been admitted.
Thank you. To the media.
Prosecution. Okay, this guy should hopefully. Maybe he'll argue that the letter's been public.
In a proceeding like this, the parties in the court and the media are working together to learn and to refine their processes. I hear Mr. Novak's remarks about challenges that we've run into in the past. I recall, it hasn't been that long ago, a time when the camera was placed in a location in the courtroom that was causing challenges. The court moved it. When there were challenges with aspects of the court's ruling, the court reiterated those, and those processes improved. We are getting better at this. Media is on board and recognizes the court's obligation and its significant efforts to balance the interests here. In light of the court's ruling, including its recognition that the media operator in this case beat almost all of us to the punch, right? And saw what was happening on the screen and moved away as quickly as they could. We believe that the procedures that the court currently has in place, even if they don't, every moment of every hearing deliver the result that we are intending to deliver. Those processes are working. I don't believe that a further adjustment, much less a sanction, much less a revisitation of something that says let's keep every photographer, every camera out of this courtroom for every proceeding. In light of the court's well-reasoned and exhaustive rulings after long briefing on all of this, the court is currently balancing these interests correctly, and we therefore ask the court to allow the parties to recognize that the time we're dedicating this morning represents a reiteration of the importance of these principles. The media and the parties all recognize that, and we'll continue to endeavor at all times to do all that we can to ensure that those are adhered to, and let the parties go forward under the current procedures without further order or sanction by the court.
Thank you. Any further arguments before the court issues its ruling?
No, but thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And just
Nope.
updating my notes as I'm intending to issue this ruling right now. I'm just making sure that I'm capturing all the points made in the argument right now.
Man, he just went super quiet. Like, oh, it likes you. Somehow don't have any green. I've got this very green tool set. Yeah, it's worth considering. All right, where are we going, Judge? Where are you taking us? Now presiding, the Honorable Fudge Booty. Oh. Could definitely make a Candace Owens parody out of that, I think. Fudge Booty. He also has the squirts. And correct, conservative mama. This is all over the publication of the note that is public. That is exactly it. That's what they're fighting over. When the contents of that note have been public for 9 months. Uh-oh, they showed something that was already public. It's just the actual handwriting was not public. So now we have his handwriting that's public, and somehow that's going to delay his ability to have a fair trial? It'd be insane, you know? I don't want to talk about any strokes that are underneath this judge's desk. You just never know what's happening, so we'll leave it at that. Hey, just saying, have you ever heard of the judge and the pump? That was a very popular story a couple years ago. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. I was asking the wife to get me a beef stick. I'm hungry. I've not eaten breakfast. Ooh, thank you all so much for being here. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. That number magically goes up when y'all do that. And, oh, hello. What do you want? What do you want? What? What? You, give it. Give. But no, you don't. Give me that. Aw, haha. Yeah, you want this? Want it? Go get it. Good boy.
All right.
I hear dogs boost subscriber counts. See? Aha! I told you! I wasn't lying. There we go. You get over here. Give me 1,000 more. No. He's a good boy. He's a hyper boy. You know, you wouldn't believe that he's almost 5 years old. No, he'll be 5 in
Almost done. I
January.
appreciate the
well, I
party's
guess
patience.
February 1st. Kind of. January 31st, somewhere in there.
This issue
He's
rises
only-
to the level that necessitates great care. And
Only
as
4 weeks older than my daughter,
practice,
my
I don't
youngest
like
daughter.
to rush or make snap decisions, and I want to give this the full
I can't hear you, Judge.
analysis that it's due. So thank you again for your patience.
No problems. Aha! Man, see, there we go. Proof. Very much proof. Thank you guys for hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all so much. And that like button, too, because it brings in a lot of new people. See, we have 229 likes with 249 viewers. That's crazy. That is a crazy ratio. You guys are amazing. Thank you all. Most people who have like 240 plus people in their, viewing will only get like 75 likes. So I'm just at a loss of words. You guys are awesome.
All right. Court will issue its ruling on the request by defense. The constitutional rights of Mr. Robinson and Ms. Kirk are paramount. Although transparency in judicial proceedings is a fundamental interest, it must be balanced against the constitutional rights of all parties. Having considered the arguments presented by counsel and having reviewed the events that occurred yesterday, the court finds that its order prohibiting the publication or broadcast of Exhibit 16 by the media camera was violated. The court agrees with the defense that this constituted a violation of the court's order. Compliance with court orders is essential in all proceedings and is of particular importance given the nature of these proceedings. With respect to defense's request as a sanction that the court reverse its ruling on defense motion 305, motion to exclude cameras, the request is respectfully denied. The
Thank you.
analysis underlying the court's prior ruling
Huge
remains
win.
unchanged, and the court adheres to its reasoning and conclusions. With respects to the defense's alternative request as a sanction to prohibit all cameras and electronic equipment from today's proceedings, thereby
Deny it.
preventing the electronic capture of the proceedings for those inside and outside of the courtroom, the request is granted in part and denied in part.
I don't like
Effective
that.
immediately,
No.
members of the media shall no longer capture or broadcast any exhibits displayed by the parties during today's proceedings. The court finds this sanction to be proportional and appropriate in light of the violation of the court's prior order. The court reserves this sanction as it relates to September 1st. It is not before the court. There has not been a request for electronic media coverage, and the court won't issue a pre-ruling. When it becomes,
Okay.
when that
So it's
request
just
has
for
been
today.
filed and all the deadlines which
But
the
I don't
court
like
has
it.
imposed in regards
Why
to
couldn't the
MC
judge just be the
filing
filter?
are in place.
You're the judge.
If motions
You could
are
have it
filed,
pop up
the
on
court
your
will
screen
entertain
right here
motions
first.
in brief argument
And
ahead
then
of the
determine if it
September
needs to be put
1st
on the big screen or not.
hearing and address it at that time. This is the ruling
I
of
feel
the
this
court.
judge is a little
Thank you.
bit lazy.
Turning to the
is what I would
defense,
call it.
if
That's
you wish,
lazy.
you may call your next
Lazy.
witness.
And I hope he sees this. That was lazy, and you could have used your brain to be like, hey,
Yes,
comes onto my
Mr.
screen
Grenander,
first, and
I'll-
then I
I'll
say
allow
whether it
all
goes up on the
parties,
screen
given
or not.
The ruling of the court.
How hard is
briefly.
that?
And I'll be brief, Judge. And this is in relation to the continued taking of evidence today. And I'll start my statement,
now we don't
Judge,
get to
with
see any more
something
exhibits
that
for
was
the
very
day.
insightful that you said the other day. You mentioned, and I quote, "Sometimes you need to take time to save time," close quote. And so that's my purpose for standing up here this morning.
Why wasting time
we
saying
have
that?
spent the better part of a day, a little over 5 hours, I believe, hearing from witnesses that the defense has called at this preliminary hearing. And no doubt the defense
what'd
is
you
entitled
text
to
me?
call
Hold on.
witnesses at a preliminary hearing as allowed by the rules. But I think it's important that the court remind all parties about the purpose of this hearing. This is a probable cause hearing.
Oh, you mean
as
the
Your Honor
image
has
yesterday? Yeah, I saw
repeatedly
that.
stated.
Yeah, you got the full letter for me here.
The defense has invoked the
Yeah.
term reliability many times.
Yeah, this is what was posted.
And the court, frankly, has found the evidence that's been admitted, the testimony. As a gatekeeper, the court has found it reliable. It's been presented. The exhibits have been found reliable.
We already had the
So any
full
questions
letter,
of
though.
additional reliability
It's been public.
are really
It just
questions of
wasn't in his
credibility
handwriting.
of the witness and weighing of the evidence.
It was totally transcribed
And that
and
is
sent out
not,
to the internet like in
really
September.
what this court engages in at the probable cause standard. And so this is all couched in the context of a likely forthcoming standing objection that the state may lodge if the testimony is long and drawn out and exceeds the scope of the preliminary hearing.
It was
gets into
released
areas
September
of the
16th.
702 hearing, possibly even trial. We will lodge this objection, but I wanted to just simply state the authority, Judge, behind our objection if we do make that. As your court is well aware, the magistrate at this stage of the case must view the evidence in the light most
Hold on.
favorable to the
Let me make sure I'm right on that.
And that's cited to in a number of Utah cases to include State v. Schmidt. Schmidt continues, this means that when reasonable inferences from the evidence cut both for and against the state's case, the magistrate lacks the discretion to choose between them and must leave such a determination to the fact finder at trial. A few other cases I would like to refer the court to. State v. Pledger, which is a Utah 1995 Supreme Court case. Speaking of this standard, the court says, the standard bars the magistrate from
Transcript
requiring the
reveals Robinson's
prosecution
alleged
to address
confession
or
and
even
shooting.
eliminate alternative inferences that could be drawn from the evidence in favor of the defense. So even assuming the defense
Please, court.
scores points today in calling these witnesses, again, the court cannot really weigh those in favor of the defense. State v. Hester, which is a Utah Court of Appeals case 2000, where there is conflicting evidence, quote, the magistrate may not sift or weigh the evidence, but must leave those tasks to the fact finder at trial. Of course, we're not at trial yet. State v. Virgin, a Utah 2006 Supreme Court case, indicates that a magistrate may only disregard evidence at a preliminary hearing if it is, quote, so contradictory, inconsistent, or unbelievable that
Hey, thank you, love
it
my
is
Aussie.
unreasonable to base belief of an element of the prosecution's claim on that evidence. There's a State v. Drozbecki case, which is a Utah Court of Appeals case 2010. Magistrates may only disregard or discredit evidence that is wholly lacking and incapable of creating a reasonable inference regarding a portion of the prosecution's claim, but must leave all the weighing of credible but conflicting evidence to the trier of fact. And finally, State v. Lopez, a Utah 2020 Supreme Court case. Speaking of this probable cause standard at a preliminary hearing, the court said, under this low bar, it may be difficult for the defense to overcome a prima facie showing of probable cause. Even an alleged victim's recantations may sometimes be insufficient, given that the magistrate must view all evidence in the light most favorable to the prosecution and draw all reasonable inferences in favor of the prosecution, close quote. Judge, Your Honor has heard 4 days of testimony now. The evidence is overwhelming.
Keep stick.
It's devastating.
Thank you.
And the question needs to be asked,
No, you don't get the
the
beep.
purpose of continuing with testimony if it's
you don't get
long
the
and drawn out.
These are
Of
green, but
course,
they
the
appear.
defense has the right
Oh,
to
yeah.
call witnesses, but it needs to be within the context of this preliminary hearing. So again, we may be lodging a standing objection of
Sorry, boy.
relevance
I know you want
and
Mr.
exceeding the scope
Jalapeno.
of this hearing.
And
That's my record.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. Do other of the parties wish to be heard as it relates to Mr. Grunander's statement?
now it's slowly disappearing instead of
The
being black.
defense-
What happened?
I'm not sure what was being requested by Mr. Grunlander. As I indicated to the court during the testimony of the last witness, we had discussion with the state prior to the start. We had a scheduled date for the court to rule on objections. And the purpose of that hearing was so that we wouldn't have to fly witnesses out from the East Coast if there was going to be a standing objection. Prior to that hearing taking place, the state contacted us after they had participated in interviews of Ms. Oliver and the other experts, and indicated to us, and we indicated to the court, that there was going to be no standing objection to the testimony of these witnesses. So if he's lodging a standing objection now, I think he's waived it, or he should be stopped from asserting it, given the circumstances. I didn't hear that he was asserting that, and I intend to keep this next witness focused on the issue that I think is relevant, which is the state presented DNA reports through a non-expert. They selectively read into the record a portion of those reports, which left an extremely misleading impression of the significance of that evidence. So I have the author of the report here, and I'm going to hopefully educate the court on what the limitations are of the report.
I think this guy annoys me more than all
I
of
hope
them,
to
to
be
be
done with
honest.
the witness by noon, direct and cross,
Yeah.
and that will be the end of it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Burt. And before I have you call the witness, just want to make sure that the media had I'm not sure if the media needs to be heard on Mr. Grunander's response. No, Your Honor. All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Burt, you may call your next witness.
Thank you.
All these are so
Call
good.
Ms. Oliver.
Some warrior beef stick, jalapeno. Good stuff.
Ms. Oliver, if you'd like to come forward and be sworn in.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give in the case now pending before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So
I guess we finally got a
All right, ma'am, you may be
witness
seated.
coming up. Is this the medical examiner?
And there's a water bottle to your left if you wish. And after you're seated, if you wouldn't mind adjusting that microphone, bringing it close to you to pick up your testimony from today.
First question to the
Mr. Burt,
court. How many
your
cats?
witness.
Thank you. Could you tell us your name, please?
Caitlin Oliver, Oliver.
And Ms. Oliver, could you bring that mic a little bit closer, so I want to make sure your voice is projected. Thank you. What do you do for a living?
I work for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives as a DNA section chief.
And how long have you held that position?
I've been a section chief since January, and I've worked with the ATF for about 9 years. Prior to that, I was a forensic biologist.
And where were you a forensic biologist before you started to work for the ATF?
Prior to the ATF, I worked for Jefferson
Got a
Parish Sheriff's
biologist, the
Office
trans
in New
person.
Orleans,
Where's my
Louisiana,
bear?
as a DNA analyst and a DNA quality manager.
Back in September of 2025, what were your duties and responsibilities?
I was a forensic biologist.
And do you recall that around September 11th, you received a request to do some DNA work at the request of the state of Utah?
Yes.
Could we display State's Exhibit 30, which is in evidence?
Is this the evidence? Oh, this is fun. Are we able to get to this at all? Oh, they muted it. Okay. That figures. So they're muted now. They're not letting any evidence come out. They won't even let us hear the evidence now. Oh, that's just absolutely stupid. Everything about this sucks. The remedy was, hey, it was shown on TV. Why can't we hear it? Yeah, the judge handed me that. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so annoying. That is annoying. Woo, you think we could get 5 more subscribers, make this an even one? 30,100, let's get there. Let's do it. I believe in you all. Yep, we have been blocked from this. This sucks. They'll be back soon, but I mean, that just sucks that they decided to do that. Man, what a load of crap. What a load of crap. Oh, wow, I got that part down, though. Who was it that requested that Megadeth solo yesterday? Who was that? Alrighty. Where's Erica's attorney? Why is this loading like that? Well, did they? Okay. I was going to be upset if they cut the camera feed.
For instance, the next sample.
They're back.
1.2, where the state read paragraph D, admitted paragraph F. You state in F, based on this calculation, there is evidentiary support for the inclusion of Tyler Robinson, correct? As a possible contributor.
Finally, I can
Correct.
hear this.
Mr. Burt, I just want to interrupt.
Sure.
I was made aware of a question about the media as it reflects this order. So the question was whether audio could be transmitted, and my ruling covered the video display of any exhibits. And so I just want to make sure that's the understanding of all the parties, that the audio of your portion discussing evidence is that you understand that that's going to be captured by the camera and displayed, but not any exhibits displayed. Is that your
Audio
understanding?
should, that's what I was saying.
Of the court's ruling, yes.
And to the state,
Woo, another sub.
and to the media.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, there might be concern about the actual monitors at council table.
Yeah, the judge should just dismiss it by now.
Well, that's why I give my notation at the beginning of the morning that the parties are responsible to monitor their monitors. And that's there because they're entitled to view it, but they're responsible to ensure that the monitors, as the camera is picking up the courtroom, it's directed not to focus on the monitors, but inevitable capture may occur, and that's why that instruction is given.
Your Honor, Jeff Nye on behalf of the victim representative. You cannot see the court from where we're sitting.
Your son's dancing to the music. Heck yeah, flying. That's awesome. Glad to hear that.
I don't understand what you're saying.
It's not being published on this
It's not
one.
being published on the monitor to the court's right.
Right, the order of the court based as a sanction is no exhibits will be displayed.
In the courtroom entirety?
As it stands right now, yes, that's correct.
Well,
Okay, please approach the lectern.
Your Honor, it's just hard for the victim's family to be able to follow the evidence if everyone but the victim's family is able to view the exhibits here in court.
Thank you, I appreciate your concern. This monitor is not on either. So it's only the attorneys. The attorneys have a right to view what exhibits are being displayed, to make their motions, objections, and to see it. It is the court's discretion on what's displayed in the courtroom for publication, and the court issued a sanction given the events of yesterday, and that's the court's ruling.
Your Honor, I just asked the court to consider the victim has the right to be present, obviously, at the hearing. And the presence without being able to see the exhibits, again, it's our position, is not meaningful.
Thank you, I appreciate your concerns. Mr. Burke.
Thank you.
Could you redisplay Exhibit 30, please? And again, while he's doing that, that same conclusion where you include the language, go back to that page, please, 5. Use the term, there is evidentiary support and possible contributor. I want to focus your attention on the words evidentiary support. We've had a prior witness testify that, from the FBI, testified that they use a scale and they characterize the support along the lines of strong. Are you familiar with that type of a scale?
Yes.
No.
Does your agency employ
I'm
that
not.
scale?
We can come to 5 conclusions at our agency, so there can either be exclusion, limited support for exclusion, uninformative, limited support for inclusion, and support for inclusion.
And I take it from what you just said, you don't use these qualifiers strongly. The word strongly include things of that nature.
Yes, we don't use a verbal scale at our laboratory.
Is that a scientific phrase when you talk about instead of saying that there's support for an inclusion, you instead say there is strong support for the conclusion?
So our laboratory doesn't use a verbal scale due to the fact that they add subjective words to the front of this word support. It is our stance that the likelihood ratio statistic, the number stands on its own. So we report the likelihood ratio and either support for inclusion or support for exclusion.
Thank you. Would you go to page 8 of the report and highlight the very top of the
This is supposed to expire August
first 2
14th,
sentences?
2026. Hopefully it's fine.
You included this language in your report, correct?
Correct.
But I'm eating it
And
anyway.
in fact, you included this language in all 3 of your reports, referring to the conclusions conform with the relevant Department of Justice policy on uniform language.
That's correct.
Right. And why do you include that language in all 3 of your reports?
There are hell-
It's standard language for our reports.
Beef, I know.
Our reports adhere to the DOJ Ultra statement.
Okay. And could you go now to Exhibit Oliver 4?
Hey, thank
the
you for being
witness
here,
only?
Samantha Gluck. I appreciate it.
Not admitted yet.
You have a good day. Hope to see you again
Are
soon.
you familiar with this document, the Department of Justice Uniform Language for Testimony and Reports for Forensic Autosomal DNA Examination using probabilistic genotyping systems?
Yes, I am.
Right. And would you go to page 4 of that document, please? And the court has heard some prior testimony about this Department of Justice directive. What is what is your understanding of what the qualifications and limitations are that are required by this policy of the Department of Justice? What are you not supposed to be saying in connection with the reports that you wrote in this case?
There's a few things that the Ultra document states. First, it states if you use a verbal scale, which we do not, then you need to use the one dictated in the document. This is in an effort to unify the language coming out of DOJ laboratories. It also says that we cannot state that our evidence is infallible, nor can we state that there is a inconclusive result.
Shall not state that it's infallible or have a 0 error rate, correct?
Correct.
It also states, does it not, that you shall not assert that a likelihood ratio of any magnitude provides an absolute identification or source attribution of an individual to an evidentiary sample.
Correct.
And are your reports in conformity with that? You're not stating or implying that anything you did here is asserting an absolute identification of someone as the source of any of the evidence that you examined, correct?
Correct. With forensic evidence, it's impossible to state with 100% certainty anything. That's why we report a likelihood ratio, to speak to that uncertainty with a statistic.
All right, and would you go to the next page of that document? This policy requires that you not state or use the expressions reasonable degree of scientific certainty, reasonable scientific certainty, or similar assertions of reasonable certainty. You didn't do that in any of your reports, correct?
Correct.
You're not asserting anything with respect to any reasonable degree of scientific certainty,
Correct.
correct? Now, when, you can take that down. When did you first receive the assignment in this case?
I would have to refer to my case record to know the exact date.
Do you have those in front of you?
I do not.
Okay, let me pull up Oliver 3 for the witness only.
Oliver the other reindeer?
And go to the third page. Does that third page help refresh your memory on when you may have received this case?
Yes, on September 12th, 2025.
Okay. Is that when you first started doing work on the case, do you think?
Yes, it is.
Now, prior to doing work on the case, did you receive permission from someone to consume any samples in the case?
Yes, I did.
And could you go to page 15 of those case notes, please? Again, for the witness only. Do you recognize this email?
Yes, I do.
And can you tell me what the email is and what
says?
information it conveyed to you in connection with your examination?
Yeah, so it's standard procedure at our laboratory that when we receive a case, we request permission to consume from the agent. We request that they reach out to an attorney if one is assigned. In this case, we will not begin any work on the case until we've received that permission to consume. So this email is us receiving permission to consume the samples and move forward with testing.
Now, does your policy have, does your lab have a policy for preserving samples for independent testing by the defense?
Where possible, we will not consume samples where it's possible.
And that policy is a longstanding one, not only in your lab, but pretty much everywhere in forensic DNA analysis, right?
That's correct.
Goes back to 1996, does it not, when the National NRC recommended a policy that samples be split wherever possible at the front end of the analysis to allow for independent examination.
Where possible, yes, that's correct.
Right, and they did that because it was their conclusion, was it not, that a wrongfully accused person's best insurance against a possibility of being falsely incriminated is the opportunity to have the testing repeated.
I got a few moderators, but I'll probably have
Such an
to
opportunity
upgrade,
should be
like,
provided whenever
to
feasible.
paying them or something when I
Correct.
get bigger,
Okay.
for sure.
Could you now go back
I don't know how
to
that'll all
Exhibit
work.
30,
I'll burn that bridge when we cross it.
page 8?
I don't know how it all works from here, but you know, see what happens.
Were certain DNA samples consumed in your
I like
analysis?
to face things head on.
Yes, they were.
And for the record, are those listed on page 8 of your report?
Yes, they are.
Which samples were entirely consumed in your analysis?
That would be exhibits 1.4, 1.6, 1.9,
I don't know who Dave Neal
1.10,
is.
1.12, 2.1, 3.1, 4.1, and
5.1?
5.1.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm so good at that.
Then are there a number of samples listed above there in the report where you say the DNA extracts will be
Just-
retained?
someone just
And then you
scream in
list 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.5, 1.7, 1.8.
You're trying to get it thrown out.
1.13, 7.1, and 8.1.
Correct.
Does that mean that those are all swab samples, correct?
They were swabs, yes.
All right. Does that mean, does your report mean that you consume the swabs, but you have some liquid extract remaining
I don't think
as
she
to those
consumed them,
samples?
but you know,
Correct.
Now,
whatever
are
floats
all
your
of the
boat.
samples, let's talk about the samples in Exhibit Plaintiff's Exhibit 30, were all of the samples you looked at there mixed samples?
Could I
Oh,
refer
Mr. Kennedy,
to
PI.
my tables in my
Wonder who that
report?
Sure. Go to page 2,
Says
please.
Steve. I have monitors. I can't hardly hear.
And can we go to page 3 and 4?
3 and 4, please.
Yeah, I wonder who. Hey, yeah, you should hear my sneeze, or better yet, you should hear Mr. Kennedy PI.
With the exception of the known samples from the known individual, that was a single source sample.
You would have been
but
able to tell
otherwise,
if
the
it was a
evidence samples were
You
all
were in that
mixtures.
And in many cases, they were mixtures of sometimes 4 and 5 people, correct?
Correct.
Now, when you look at mixtures, such as the ones in this case, you use terms like major and minor contributor, right?
Correct.
Is that language meant to convey that anything with respect to activity of anybody who might be assigned to
minor
that DNA
contributor, it has a
weight? In
flat
other words, are
third.
you saying the person you label
it's
as
a major,
a
it's got a
major
natural
contributor
third.
was
There you go.
engaged in any sort of activity? Is there any connection between the use of that language and activity?
None of the testing that I performed could speak to activity or what activity led to the deposition of the DNA.
So nothing in your report, if somebody reads that and says, oh, this one says this person is a major contributor, you're not commenting on anything about the person's activity, correct?
Correct.
And is it true also that there are also several other limitations concerning the language of your report that it's important for courts and people who are reading the report to understand?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Are there other limitations in addition to the one we just reviewed that it's important to understand about the language you use in your report?
In terms, is there something specific that you're?
Yeah, there is. Could you go to Baker Exhibit 30, page 1, for the witness only?
Yeah, this is pretty much, yeah, you're right, ALS.
Are you familiar with
this is
this,
exactly the
publication?
same arguments as yesterday's
Yes.
DNA
This
testing.
is a
person.
publication
Like, they're
by
doing
the
same line of
National
questions.
Institute of Standards and
This
Technology.
is a massive waste of
called
time.
Forensic DNA Interpretation.
It's gonna be the
of
same
Human
answers.
Factors.
Correct.
This is put together as a guidance document for practitioners on what, to simplify, essentially, what to say and what not to say.
I don't know that I would call it a guidance document. NIST is not a regulatory body for DNA testing. It was a report that looked into forensic DNA reporting and specific human factors that could affect our testing. So they may have had recommendations, but as far as them being a regulatory body that's issuing guidelines, I wouldn't state that.
Okay, that's fine. Could you go to 136, please?
Just debunked his whole narrative, but he's going to keep on anyway and waste our times. So his
136.
reference that he's pulling from does not have any authoritative, like, backing. So he's just going to try and put this into evidence and, you know, when it comes up in the trial later, he can pull this evidence and be like, see, this is why we believe that they're not credible. I think that's what's going to happen. But this is such a freaking waste of time because he already did this yesterday and failed pretty
Keep
badly.
going.
Now we're doing it with a fourth person.
There we go, right there. Wait, 135, I'm sorry. And then scroll down to the next page. So they're making recommendations here as to how the report should be worded, correct?
Correct.
Let me ask you whether you agree with some of these limitations, or they call them caveats. They talk about how you describe the number of contributors.
Caveat.
And they say, the true number of contributors of DNA to
All
an
right,
item
we'll see
can
you
never
later.
be known. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. They also say,
We'll be over at the house. before
let me ask one question before I ask this one, which is, do you use something called a reporting cap in all three of your reports?
Yes, so for our likelihood ratio statistics, we cap the statistic at 1 trillion. The actual number could be a lot higher. It could be quintillion, octillion. We chose 1 trillion because it has meaning, I think, to people that can understand what 1 trillion is. An octillion and a quintillion gets a little high at that point, so we cap at 1 trillion.
And they talk here, do they not, about how you convey the idea of a reporting cap? And they say the LR reporting cap was chosen because of the limitation of biostatistical modeling and independence assumptions of STR loci. Do you agree that that's why the cap is chosen?
Oh, I see.
believe we
Yeah, the
chose
attorney
our
did
cap
say
for the
that she
reason I
liked doing
stated.
press conferences, which is ridiculous.
Do you disagree with that statement in terms of why the cap is chosen?
I'm not familiar with the paper that's referenced there,
think you
so
should have
I
been
would have to
sanctioned for that, in
familiarize
my
myself
opinion,
before I said I
Okay.
agreed or disagreed.
Fair enough. And then they also suggest that you alert in your report that profile descriptors cannot be applied to activity level issues. Do you agree with that?
Yes, so this is what you were stating about calling a major contributor. It doesn't speak to the activity that led to the DNA deposition.
Right. DNA profiles may be described as major, minor. However, these descriptors should not be interpreted in the context of a decision regarding the nature or the mechanisms, actions, or timing that led to the deposition of the DNA. You agree with that?
Correct, yes.
All right. And then the other sort of limitation, convey that the DNA results cannot be interpreted as the analyst providing an opinion regarding who the source of the DNA is.
Yes, so this is, once again, we don't make source attribution statements. We will say there's support for inclusion, and then we back up that with a statistic.
So from a scientific standpoint, you couldn't read the paragraph that sets out the likelihood ratio in your report, whatever the number, and then blast a headline in the media, Mr. Robinson's DNA is found on this item. That's a source attribution, is it not?
Correct, yes.
And that would not be scientifically defensible, would it?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, and
Another limitation they talk about on likelihood ratios, on the next page, please, 137. Likelihood ratios cannot speak to the likelihood of a proposition, only to the probability of the results given a pair of propositions. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Explain that, because that's a little above my pay grade in terms of understanding.
So a likelihood ratio
A rich
statistic
attorney. That's
compares the
above my pay
probability
grade.
of the
Yeah,
DNA
right.
profile of the evidence
You're making
given two competing
way more money than
hypotheses or
she
two
is.
competing scenarios. Typically, the first is that the person of interest is included, and then the exclusionary hypothesis would be that the person of interest is excluded. So there's a random, unknown, unrelated individual contributing.
And when they're elaborating on that point, they say a likelihood ratio indicates if and to what extent the DNA analysis results support one proposition over another. It is not possible on this basis alone to determine which is the most probable proposition. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next limitation they suggest you convey is that convey that DNA statistics cannot imply uniqueness within a population. Do you agree that that's a legitimate limitation?
Yes,
And explain what that means. Does that go back to the issue of source? You can't assign a source to a DNA sample?
correct.
Okay. It says you should delineate the meaning of a verbal qualifier, but you didn't use one in this case, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that your testing cannot, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't mischaracterize it. Your testing, none of the testing in any of the three reports can answer the question of how and when DNA got deposited. Is that true?
That is true. DNA can't speak to the activity that led to the deposition of the DNA.
And the report says, with regard to that issue, with the increased sensitivity of DNA techniques and sophisticated software, a DNA profile may be developed even when the contributor of that DNA never touched the item or area that was swabbed. Alternatively, a person's DNA may be present when they were not involved in the crime. Do you agree with that?
Yes, once again, I cannot speak to the activity.
Can you explain how it's possible that a DNA profile may be developed even when the contributor of that DNA never touched the item or area that was swabbed?
So it's possible if, say, the pen that you're sitting there using for the week, you, say, hand it off to the judge, and the judge then touches it for a period of time, and then I swab it. It doesn't speak to who handled it last. I could test that. I could get both of your profiles. I wouldn't know which person was the last person to handle that item.
All right. And similarly, if you had a lot of DNA on your hand, we shook hands, I then went to pick up an exhibit, a gun, I touched the trigger of it, your DNA could be on that trigger, right?
It is possible, yes.
Okay, even though you never touched the gun.
Yes.
And that's why, because of those possibilities, you can't make any assessment of how or when DNA got deposited, correct?
Correct.
How long can DNA persist on an item?
DNA is
Forever.
quite stable over time. It can be broken down due to environmental insults, so things like heat and humidity are known to break down DNA over time. But I couldn't give you an exact number.
Were certain of the samples that you tested in this case degraded samples?
There was degradation present in some of the samples.
And what can cause degradation?
Like I said, there's environmental insults, heat, humidity.
Now, the second report that you wrote had to do with a Dremel item that was taken from Mr. Robinson's home.
Correct.
And
Oh, by the way, I wanted to point this out there.
did you
So they published it April 2026.
request
before the
certain
hearing.
what are called elimination samples in regard to items that were recovered from his home?
Yes.
Tell the court what an elimination sample is as opposed to a sample that relates to what's called a POI, person of interest.
So an elimination sample is a sample taken from a known individual that it may be assumed that they could have come into contact with it. If I were to, say, swab your vehicle, then I would want your DNA sample as an elimination to eliminate you in order to look for any additional DNA that may be there.
And you say they're assumed contributors because depending upon the location, for instance, somebody's house, you would expect if there were multiple people in that house that perhaps everybody in the house could contribute to a certain DNA result.
It's possible.
So you'd want samples from all those folks to see if they contributed to an item that would be associated with a place where they congregated.
Correct.
And I noticed from your case file that you also requested, but I don't think you received, elimination samples from agents who were involved in this case.
Correct.
Why do you request those samples?
The type of testing we perform is quite sensitive, and so it is a standard practice that we request elimination samples from any of the investigators involved in order to potentially eliminate them in case they could have contaminated the evidence.
Okay. Now, in report number 157, if you could bring that up, please. Oliver 157, which has been admitted.
Hey, Serenity. You have a good day.
The elimination samples that you requested in connection with items seized from Mr. Robinson's apartment were from Amber Robinson, Matthew Robinson, and Lance Twiggs, correct?
Correct.
And that's because you had information that those people were associated with the house.
Correct.
And when you tested or compared, first of all, you determined their DNA types.
I really hope I don't have to get off
Right.
here in a few.
Correct.
Then you
This is
compared
dragging
their types to what
for
you
nothing.
found on the evidence.
Correct.
And for a certain number of those samples, you found the presence of
Supposed to get to a ruling today.
DNA of your elimination samples, not because they were suspects, but because they were associated with the premises, right?
There was support for inclusion of some of these individuals, yes.
Okay. And if you could scroll down to page 4, which is the table, I just want to review briefly with you. For instance, item number 1.4, which was a swab from the rifle. You used the elimination sample of Mr. Robinson's father, and you found his DNA on that particular swab, correct?
I would say there was support for inclusion of Matthew Robinson on the sample obtained from the swabs of the bolt of the rifle.
I'm glad you pointed that out. That's, again, consistent with your other testimony. You're talking again about support for inclusion as a possible contributor.
Correct. And there
Again,
was-
not because he's a suspect, but because he's
Can we
associated
object
with
now?
that premise.
Correct,
is
and there
getting
would have been a likelihood
unbelievably
ratio
dumb.
statistic calculated and to go along with that.
Okay. Could you go to the next page? Similarly, with respect to 1.6, you found, again, Matthew Robinson on swap number 1.6, or a profile that indicated he was a possible contributor.
There was support for inclusion of Matthew Robinson.
Okay. And next page, actually go page to page 7. You found support for inclusion of Lance Twiggs on swabs of buttons of a Dremel tool, correct?
I did not
Correct.
think he was going to say buttons. I thought that was going to
And
cut short.
going
a
back
little.
to what we were talking about before,
Swab his
if
butt.
a person named Lance Twiggs lived in that residence, came into contact with Tyler Robinson, and then touched a button on a Dremel tool, you'd expect Mr. Robinson and Mr. Twiggs's DNA to be on there, right? Or you could.
It's reasonable to assume that anyone living in the household could have contributed to DNA on an object found in that
Yeah,
household.
sure. What is the point?
And similarly, you found profiles to suggest support for inclusion of Mr. Twiggs on
Bro is
other
asking the
areas
same
of the
questions like
Dremel
9,000
tool,
different ways.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, the last area I want to ask you about is,
The only way this is like
You're
important
familiar
is
with
if it
something
turned out
called
Lance Twiggs did it,
NGS?
or the grandfather, or the
Yes.
dad.
what
did
is
it.
NGS?
NGS stands for Next Generation Sequencing. It's a DNA technique that sequences your DNA, so it looks at the individual sequence of your DNA.
And is it true that in your field, that whole area of NGS is something that's at the forefront of everybody's attention? For instance, when you
Sounds
go
like
to
it. It
seminars
sounds cutting edge
and you look at
compared
the
to other DNA,
presentation,
where they look at boxcars.
presentations, there's a lot of talk about NGS, right?
That's correct. Yes, it's a newer technique.
And
Yeah.
is it being developed by ATF as a technique that's going to be used or has been used?
Not at this time, no.
And is there plans to do that?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. Do you know if other labs have implemented it?
I believe there may be some laboratories in the United States that have it in use, but I wouldn't have direct knowledge of that.
Now, you used a program in this case called STR Mix, correct?
Correct.
StarMix, yep.
And that's sold by a company in New Zealand, that software?
Correct.
Have they
Cool.
developed another program called STR Mix NGS?
I'm not aware of NGS software.
Could you go to 156, Oliver 156?
Why are we going over the StarMix stuff again today?
Let me know when you're there.
Prosecution's being very patient with this. But we're going to litigate StarMix again.
Are you aware that STR, the developers are selling a product called STR Mix NGS?
I was not aware, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, sequencing analysis is different than what you did in this case, correct?
Correct.
And how so?
As I said, sequencing is looking at the individual sequence, the individual bases that make up your DNA, as opposed to the testing that I'm performing, which is looking at length variations. So STR testing, which is the testing I perform, looks at areas of the DNA that are known to be highly variable between individuals, and there are areas where the DNA sequence repeats itself over and over again. And depending on who you are as an individual, you may have a different number of repeats present at that location. So the testing we're performing is looking at those length variations. There's a distinction between, say, if you have 10 repeats versus 12 repeats.
But you're not looking within those lengths to see what the sequence of the DNA is.
Correct.
And that's what this new technology is designed to look at.
Correct.
And the reason it's designed to look at that is because it's been found that there are DNA areas that are different in sequence, even though they're the same length. Is that true?
I think the reason for developing NGS software is to add another tool to a forensic biologist tool belt.
Okay. Now, could you go to 154, please, for the witness only? You're familiar with this chart?
Yeah, it's not a replacement tool. It's just
Yes.
an added tool.
Okay, this lists
Gotcha.
all the alleles that you found for all the testing in your
Yeah,
three
if he got
analysis,
this is
correct?
why it's a waste of time. Think about
No,
this.
it looks like
If he got this DNA testing question, like all this, like put up in court here and thrown out of this courtroom, how many decades of DNA testing would they have to go back, and how many like criminals would they have to free? You know, how many murderers would they have to free? You see what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is reliable. It's just not as reliable as the latest, newest, shiniest thing that's not implemented in every lab.
of this chart, I have
Sure.
not reviewed the entire
Go to
thing.
the first page.
But it's just a waste of time.
This lists the alleles that you found, correct?
For the known samples, yes.
Okay, now go to the second page.
I'm not saying if they don't find
And
anything
is it
wrong
true that
with the
for
current
the
DNA,
alleles
they
of
should do
interest in
something?
this case, one
But they're
one
not
of the
finding anything
alleles
wrong
of
with it.
interest is at the D3 location, allele 17.
One of the locations that we look at on the DNA strand is
His argument
called
is that,
D3.
well, this
That's
is the nicest,
location,
newest
yes.
thing.
Right, and in this
Why aren't you
case, the
using that?
17 allele is important because Mr. Robinson had a 17 allele, correct?
Correct.
And some of the evidence had a 17 allele
Correct.
at that location.
Correct.
So as I understand the way you do this, you look and compare whether those are the same number, basically.
I wouldn't state that's how we do our comparison. So it's not just number matching. We're using STR Mix, the STAR Mix software, in order to perform an analysis of the software that looks at the possibilities for a DNA profile and make comparison to the knowns that way. We aren't using a chart and just doing number matching.
Yeah, and
There
I
you go.
wasn't suggesting you did, but
You
you're
kinda
looking
are,
at the
yeah.
alleles and measuring the peaks, and it's a
Hey, Maggie.
fairly
Thank you for
sophisticated
being here.
process, correct?
Correct.
Hey, Dusty
But the
Carrot.
bottom line is you're comparing
Hey,
alleles one
Smiles.
against another.
Hey, Sab.
Correct.
So if a person is a 1717 and the evidence sample is a 1717, you're looking at
Velvet.
that
Hey, Mary.
comparison.
Correct.
And again, measuring only length.
Correct.
But it's true, is it not, that researchers have found that that particular allele, the D317 allele, that there are actually 3 different 17s, 17A, 17B, 17C.
Yeah, so there's something known as isoalleles. What that is you may have, in this case, a 17 allele, but the sequence within that 17 allele is different. So 2 people may have a 17, but they may have a different sequence within their 17 allele.
And it's been found that there is a 17A, a 17B, and a 17C, correct?
Objection. Relevance to the probable cause hearing. At this point,
It's about
I
time.
think we've once again gone beyond probable cause, and
about time.
based on Mr. Grunlander's argument, I would invoke his argument here in the case law that he referenced.
Man, this is getting
I
annoying
object to
how
this
they've
question.
wasted time and
Let
how
me
the judge
withdraw the
has not
question,
stopped
reframe
this.
it, and move beyond it.
All right, so I'll sustain the objection. It will be reframed, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
It's true, is it not, that fought at least 1, 2.
Real quick, Cain Abel here for $10. Yeah, there should be objections. The offense needs more teeth. Agreed. Not just the offense, too. The judge needs a little bit more teeth on this. Like, the judge just made the worst ruling to not show evidence today based on something that was released in April of this year. So stupid.
5 of the locations of interest in this case, researchers have found that the
This is
alleles
taking
that you
way
were
too
looking
long
at,
to get
these
this objection.
isoalleles,
And it was sustained
have different
immediately.
sequences but the same length.
Objection. Relevance.
Oh my
The
God.
witness has testified she does not do sequencing analysis here, and that's what the question is asking, is about sequencing analysis.
Counsel?
The point, though, is that her testing cannot distinguish between these isoalleles, and therefore it goes to the weight of the
Dude.
comparisons.
But if she didn't do that,
Yeah, that's the point, is that she didn't do it, and therefore she's
Duh,
not
we already
in a
know she didn't
position
do
to
it.
draw conclusions.
That was the point. That was established.
McBride?
That
They are
proffer is
wasting so much
inaccurate,
time. They need to get
that
on
she's
this and
not able
cut
to
the
draw
crap.
conclusions because she did not do NGS or sequencing
Cut the
analysis.
filibustering.
She has testified that her lab and the analysis she did here is not sequencing analysis, it's something different. Whether or not she could do sequencing analysis is irrelevant to the analysis that she did do. If Mr. Burt wants to call an expert to say sequencing analysis is better or something like that, that's fine. But this expert does not do sequencing analysis. Therefore, the line of questioning that goes into sequencing analysis is irrelevant to her testimony.
Let me
Correct.
see if I could lay a further foundation.
All right, so I'm going to sustain the objection.
Sure.
And the question may be re-asked if counsel chooses.
Yeah, ask a different question and get off the
When you
stand.
do your analysis using length only, do you go by the rule that if any STR locus fails to match when
weird little
comparing the genotypes
notification
between
management here.
two or more samples, then the comparison of profiles between
Get
the
those numbers
question
up.
and reference
Thank you all for
sample
being
is
here.
usually declared a non-match, regardless of how many other loci match?
If you haven't left a like yet, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It'll
No,
boost the
it's
numbers
not
on this
quite that
channel.
simple.
Take
An
over YouTube.
What you're speaking of is an exclusion, is
We
that
will
correct?
all
Yeah.
become the prego.
So
He's so stupid.
it's possible for DNA evidence to, we spoke about, it's possible that DNA evidence be degraded.
Forgive my
In
total
a case like
retardation,
that,
guys.
there may be the potential that some of the profile has what we call dropped out. So it's not present. In that case, we wouldn't expect necessarily to have a inclusion or exclusion at that location because there's no information present there. So it's not quite as simple as is every allele in this chart present in the evidence. There's more to it than that.
If you had a difference in sequence between a known and a question across many loci, would you exclude the person?
It
It's
depends
again,
on,
objection, Your Honor. We're going back into sequencing, which is not the analysis that was done in this case.
Correct. Get him off the
Mr. Burt.
stand.
Again,
This should be
Your Honor,
done now.
if-
Stop
if
letting him go back to this.
There could
3
be
strikes.
exclusion
There shouldn't be 3
based on
strikes
this,
in
and
the court.
testing was not
This
done.
dude
I
goes
think
back
that-
and
that
does
is relevant.
the same
But
thing
as
3
it
times in a
relates
row
to this
now.
witness and her firsthand knowledge, I'm not seeing that tie-in as it relates to her.
All right, let me move on then.
So I'll sustain the objection.
Now, you said that
Yes.
all the samples you looked at.
If you get me to 100,000
in
subscribers
that
right
one
now, I
report
will
were
wear a
mixtures,
yarmulke
correct?
for the rest
Correct.
of
And
my time
the
here,
number
even though I'm
you
not
get
Jewish.
in the likelihood ratio.
But I will happily become top Jew.
Depends on
Why not?
how many contributors you estimate.
lead the charge.
Right? The numbers
I'll
gonna
be at the
vary
front
if you
lines.
say
I'll
it's-
lead the charge
I
directly
think it's
into Iran.
a mixture of 2 people,
Right.
versus I think
He's so
it's a mixture of
stupid.
5 people.
Again, I'm an
It's not
idiot.
necessarily the
Don't
number of
mind me.
contributors.
But we'll do it.
The likelihood ratio is
I want
speaks
a
to the
guitar-shaped
weight of the
spear
evidence.
while I do it too. You know?
And so it's comparing known individuals to the unknown sample. It could be a low number and be a single source sample. It could be a high number and be a 4-person mixture. It's not necessarily
page
directly
about it.
correlated with the number of contributors.
Let me ask you if you agree with this. This is from the NIST mixture study. An likelihood ratio numeric value is not a measurement of a physical quantity. Do you agree with that?
Correct.
Rather, it is a ratio of probabilities.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
the opinion of the
Working for
expert, assessing the
Now, they're all
likelihood
working for me.
ratio, and is dependent on the specific
That'd be crazy.
propositions used to formulate it, and also on the individual making the assessment.
I've been the mastermind behind Iran the whole time.
Correct.
It was
Yes, I
all
agree.
me.
And does the final likelihood ratio depend on
Was
the
me.
number of contributors you assume?
No, it does not.
It has no effect whatsoever?
It can have an effect. It's possible. It's possible.
Getting quieter.
Multiple other
Keep having
factors
to
could
adjust the
contribute to
volume
the
up.
likelihood
This is
ratio.
annoying.
Is it somehow difficult to figure out how many contributors there are in a sample?
I guess I would say that I use my my training, education, and experience in order to determine the number of contributors present in a profile.
Well, I noticed throughout your report, you use the phrase,
But now they're going up
for instance, with regard to the 1.2 sample,
by a lot.
the profile consistent with at least five contributors,
Is it that hard to
at
balance
least
audio?
one of which is male. And for 1.1, you say
Turn the
the
fader.
profile is
Leave it
consistent
alone.
with at least 4 contributors. I assume by the word "at least," you're signaling that it could be more.
Correct.
And as the number
30,000 of us as soldiers, we can
people
take
to
them.
a mixture increases, the difficulty in
Then we're taking Ireland. Because why not?
sorting out that mixture increases.
After we
well,
take
correct?
Iran, we're taking
Correct.
Ireland. Because I want it.
I noticed in your
Scratch that.
standard
Greenland. We're
operating
taking
procedure,
Greenland.
there's some guidance on interpreting
Okay, we're taking Ireland too, then.
3-person mixtures. Familiar with that, right?
Yes.
And it says, and correct me if I'm wrong, approximately 70% of 4-person mixtures present as 2 or 3-person mixtures, based solely on number of alleles present.
It's possible for them to present. Yes.
Well, it doesn't say it's possible. It says, for example, approximately, in all cases, assuming a mixture as a result of the combination of 3 people must be done with caution. For example, approximately 70% of 4-person mixtures present as 2 or 3-person mixtures, based solely on number of alleles present.
You said you're referencing my SOP.
Yes,
Is it possible for me to take a look at it?
sure.
Your Honor, I'm going
Here
to
we
object
go.
at this point. The point that defense counsel is getting at is made in the last answer, which is that the difficulty of sorting out mixtures increases as the number of contributors increases. That's all understood, but that has nothing to do with the probable cause determination. Even if it's difficult, the inferences and the evidence
Correct.
is weighed in the favor of the state. The court cannot weigh the difficulty in determining this evidence. Is it fair for a trier of fact at a jury? Sure it is. But we're now getting into weight issues that are relevant for a jury, but not for this court.
Well, he's implying this is going to be an extended discussion. I have one question which he wants to look at her manual to make sure it's in there. So, and then I'm done.
All right. I'll
Are
allow
you
this
done?
question,
Or is there gonna be
so
another
I'll rule the
freaking question?
objection.
We'll
She
see.
may review the material and
Okay,
So
she'll
could you
review
bring
it.
up
motion could be rephrased.
one exhibit,
Gins for the $10. Thank you so much. That answers your question right there. Susie, that's the entire 7K. 7K shekels right there. Well, I guess that doesn't equal that. It'll be, that's probably worth at least, well, it wouldn't be pesos. That'd be 1,000 pesos, right? I don't know. Who knows with inflation nowadays, how far we are. Could be 7,000 pesos. Maybe that's what it was, right? Oh, no. Thank you so much, though. Thank you so much, Gins. I appreciate you. You guys are funny. You guys are awesome. We're keeping it
did I
lively
read that
today.
correctly?
Yes.
And
Yesterday I
it's
was
true,
so
is it not,
tired.
that approximately 70% of 4-person mixtures present as 2 or 3-person mixtures.
It's possible.
Thank you. That's all I
Okay.
have.
Thank you.
Cool.
We've been going for a bit, and depending on how much cross, I'm trying to decide if a break is warranted or if, Mr. McBride, you wish your cross is limited. Again, not trying to say which way you should go. I'm just trying to weigh whether we should take a break.
I will probably be, I will probably be 20 minutes.
All right, let's just keep going, and then at that point, we can take a break.
Cool.
Thank you, Mr. McBride.
You don't need to take another freaking break after you just took 2 breaks. We're good. Yeah, I'm swinging from the fences here live with Persians. Going at it. Taking everyone down with me. Oh no, I lost a subscriber. Can I get 5 more of you guys to make that up for me? Ooh. No, it's just YouTube. YouTube does this weird thing. Like, all of them will come back. I don't know why YouTube does that either. It's kind of weird.
Good morning.
Morning.
Is your lab accredited?
Yes, it is.
What does that mean?
So our laboratory goes through a voluntary accreditation process.
Yes, we already got
where
this.
an external third party comes in and audits our laboratory to a set of standards. Specifically, the
I know
ATF
this is the
laboratory
prosecution, but
accredited, and
we went over this
specifically
line of
the DNA
questioning
section of
yesterday. They're accredited.
ATF laboratory is accredited to 2 sets of standards.
And she'll
One
probably
is
go over
an
the international ones,
set of
too.
standards called ISO 17025 for testing laboratories. And additionally, a DNA-specific set of standards put forth by the FBI.
Does the accreditation require that the methodologies you use be validated?
Yes,
The methodologies used in this case have been accepted by courts across the country, correct?
correct.
Does the accreditation require that forensic biologists like yourself satisfy certain qualification standards?
Yes, we're required to perform competency testing prior to participating in casework. And additionally, we participate in twice a year proficiency testing.
Okay.
And do you satisfy the competency and qualification standards required by accreditation?
Yes,
And at the time you did the testing in this case, did you satisfy those standards?
yes.
Moving to your opinions,
YouTube unsubbed you, Ashley?
where on
Yeah,
the
YouTube's weird like that.
firearm
Thank you for coming back, though.
did you find evidentiary support for the inclusion of Tyler Robinson?
There were several locations. I'd have to refer to my report.
Okay, would you look at your report, and this is, it looks like report number, or exhibit number 30. If we can pull that up, just for the witness.
Thank y'all so much for being here, by the way. You guys are amazing. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's take on over YouTube. I think we can do it. I don't even know if there's any people in here that aren't subscribed, but hey, I'm trying. I'm trying. After this, we'll be watching some Farting Creature compilation. Anybody, anybody from the early 2000s in here?
We had it for a minute here, a minute ago.
Which link was that, Eric? Was that the one over?
Okay, if we could go to page number 2, please.
what was his name? That guy that I subscribed to, Etne or
Will you just list off the areas
can't
of
remember his
that
name.
firearm where there was evidentiary support for inclusion of Tyler Robinson?
The swabs of the stock and grips of rifle, the swabs of the butt plate of rifle, swabs of the trigger and trigger guard of rifle
Butt
with
plate's
possible ridge
interesting.
detail / smudging, the swabs of the bolt of the rifle with possible ridge detail / smudging, and the swabs of the forend of the rifle.
We go to page 3.
Swabs of the barrel of the rifle with possible ridge detail / smudging, the swabs of possible ridge detail / smudging on the optical accessory,
And page 4.
the swabs of the protected underside of the receiver of the rifle after disassembly, the swabs of one 30-06 cartridge case, the swabs of one 30-06 cartridge,
Okay.
and the swabs of one 30-06 cartridge.
I want to ask you about a couple of those conclusions. Let's look at page 5, please. And calculation number 3, exhibit 1.3, do you know where that swab was taken from?
I'd have to refer back to page 2.
Can we refer back to page 2, please, Kimberly? Thank you.
1.3 is the swabs of the trigger and trigger guard of the rifle.
All right, going back to page 5. And we've had some talk, some testimony from you and some questions for you about the likelihood ratios. What was your conclusion as to the likelihood ratio that you analyzed in this question in calculation number 3?
For this exhibit, the DNA profile was at least 1 trillion times more likely if it originated from Tyler Robinson as the major component and 3 unknown unrelated individuals than if it originated from 4 unrelated individuals.
You say at least 1 trillion times more likely. So it could be a much higher number than 1 trillion. Is that accurate?
It's possible.
But
Definitely
the
isn't lower.
protocols in your laboratory say you cap that at
And who
the
cares?
number
At
1
that point, over
Is
a
that
trillion,
right?
like it doesn't even
Correct.
matter
We
if
would
it's
not
like
report
over a
any higher
billion.
than
At
1
that point, it's
trillion.
just done. You know.
And it looks like you also did a probability statistic as well in paragraph E. Is that right?
Correct. It's another way of stating the likelihood ratio statistic.
And will you state your findings you made here in paragraph E, and that's on page 6?
The probability of an unrelated individual in the population who has not contributed DNA to the sample yielding this level of support is less than 1 in a trillion.
And same question there. The trillion number, it could be far less than that, but you stop your calculations or the statistics at 1 trillion. Is that right?
Correct.
Let us move to page 7 with regard to statistical analysis calculation number 7. Now, do you remember what 1.3 or 1.13 and 2.1 are?
I'd have to refer back to page 3, I believe.
You could jump to page 3. Thank you, Kimberly.
Page 4, I'm sorry.
Page 4.
The 1.13 is the swabs of the protected underside of the receiver of the rifle after disassembly. And 2.1 is the swabs of one 30-06 cartridge case.
Now, did you do the swabs themselves?
I did not.
And 2.1 is a cartridge case, is that right?
Correct.
And what's the difference between a cartridge case and a cartridge?
The cartridge is unfired.
Got this
Cartridge case has
definition
been fired.
yesterday.
Right.
I don't know why we're asking this again.
Let's jump back to page 7. And what was your conclusion with regard to, well, first of all, why do you group these two together, exhibits 1.13 and 2.1 in your conclusions here?
They were both mixtures of two individuals, and they both yielded a likelihood ratio of the same magnitude, so they can be grouped together.
Okay. It's not that they were tested together?
Correct.
It's just that the results were of the same magnitude, so they were reported together. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. What was your conclusion as it relates to both of these as to the likelihood ratio?
The DNA profiles are at least 1 trillion times more likely if they originated from Tyler Robinson as the major contributor and an unknown, unrelated individual than if they originated from 2 unknown, unrelated individuals.
And did you make a conclusion here as well about a probability statistic?
Yes, so the probability of an unrelated individual in the population who has not contributed DNA to these samples yielding this level of support, so meaning yielding this likelihood ratio, is less than 1 in a trillion.
Nothing else.
Mr. Burt.
The 1.3 sample is described as swabs of trigger and trigger guard, right?
Correct.
You didn't do the swabs, but am I correct that you have no way of knowing which part was from the trigger and which part was from the trigger guard?
Correct, so they were swabbed together, so I wouldn't be able to say where the DNA came from.
And that's one of the samples that was degraded, correct?
There were signs of degradation present in that sample, yes.
And you said with regard to that sample, that that was a sample consistent with at least 4 contributors, right?
Correct.
And did what you term the major profile have the largest amount of degradation in that sample?
There was, yes.
And you can't tell us anything about when the DNA was deposited on the trigger guard or the trigger, correct?
Correct.
You can't tell us anything about whether, when you say it's at least 4, it could be 5, 6, or 7 people with DNA on that trigger or trigger guard, correct?
Correct, which is why we have the major contributor that is suitable for comparison, and the minor contributor is not suitable for comparison due to that complexity.
And again, major, minor just has to do with the levels of DNA you were seeing. It has nothing to do with someone being engaged in activity that is major in relation to the minor contributor.
Yes, so the major contributor is the majority of the DNA contributed to that sample.
Okay. And some of these samples, you have major contributors of more than one person, right?
Correct.
So for sample 1.1, swabs of stock, you have 2 major profiles, and there are at least 4 contributors on that sample, right?
Can I refer to my report?
Sure.
No.
It's exhibit 30.
No, you may not. Lady?
Plaintiff's 30. Right?
I don't know why they're not keeping this a little shorter and sweeter.
You said exhibit 1.1?
Yes.
Yes, it was a mixture of 4 individuals. There were 2 major contributors.
Okay. And again, with regard to all these samples, no way of knowing when or how the DNA
Is
got
Shapiro
on
doing
those
that right now?
samples, correct?
I'll pull them up.
You referenced another statistic in your report, which is the statistic related to
Every time I
paragraph
try to get a
E,
picture of
I
it laying
guess.
upside down.
Correct.
Ooh.
Is it what's called the random match probability statistic? Or is that something else?
It itself is not a random match probability statistic. It is a way to represent the likelihood ratio similar to a random match probability.
But it's still a likelihood ratio computation, right?
Correct. It's based off the likelihood ratio computation.
And it's still subject to all the limitations we've talked about.
Correct.
Can't attribute it to any person, can't state it's infallible, can't state there's a zero error rate, and you can't state that it is a source connected with any one person, correct?
Right. So part of not being able to state source attribution is the reason we report the likelihood ratio statistic. It speaks to the weight of the evidence. And so yes, we can't do a source attribution, and we report that statistic and address that uncertainty that way.
And address the uncertainty along with the other limitations we talked about.
Correct.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anything further for this witness?
No.
All right. May this witness be excused.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. Anything further from the defense?
No, we have no further witnesses.
All right. Returning to prosecution, anything further?
No, Judge, we have no rebuttal evidence to present at this hearing. The state has no rebuttal evidence to present at this hearing. However, before we break, there is the matter that was discussed yesterday with respect to publishing in the courtroom Exhibit 12.1 so that the victim's family can observe that.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Yay, new subscriber.
All right.
Thank you.
Do the parties wish to be heard as it relates to this briefly, and then the court will issue its ruling? And
Your Honor, I actually just want to make a quick record. We have advised Mr. Robinson of his right to testify at this hearing, and he is choosing to take our advice and not testify.
Is that correct, Mr. Robinson? And I note that he's nodding in the affirmative. Thank you, Ms. Visser.
Really?
All right. In regards to the outstanding issue about the publication of State's Exhibit 12.1 to the courtroom only, to persons here, any further input from any of the parties before the court issues its ruling?
Your Honor, Jeff and I, on behalf of the victim, my understanding is you ruled yesterday that you were going to play it, that you did grant our request. So I don't know if we...
Thank you.
Okay.
Judge, I might simply add, given the court's ruling this morning with respect to displaying exhibits, we may want to make a record with the live streaming folks here that it's not going to be published.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Nothing further from any of the parties? Okay.
Yes. Yes. September will be the next date in court. September 1st.
Notes.
We at least have that. We got that from yesterday, but it's not going to be much. And we don't even know if they'll have cameras in the courtroom for that or not.
The court wishes to readdress yesterday's ruling in light of this morning's sanction as it relates to Exhibit 16. The court separately addressed that incident and imposed a sanction on the record. Having considered all applicable public access, fair trial, privacy, and victims' rights interests, the court adheres to its prior ruling. The court finds that temporarily limiting live stream to audio only while Exhibit 12.1 is displayed is necessary to prevent the inadvertent publication of the exhibit from being transmitted to outside the courtroom, and no broader and is taking the least restrictive means to accomplish what is being requested. Accordingly, Exhibit 12.1 may be viewed by all persons physically present in the courtroom, including victim representative Ms. Kirk in her capacity as the victim representative. The same in-court viewing rules applies to all parties and courtroom attendees. And That is the ruling of the court. Let's go ahead and proceed to that, to the stage. So could the camera operator let me know when we're switched
There
to
you
an
go.
audio
Cool.
only? We are? Okay. All right. And as it's switched to audio only, to the state, now my understanding there's no audio on this surveillance on 12.1. Is that correct? All right. All right. So let's go ahead and play that. And I'm going to
All right, here
rule
we
that
go.
the
Here's some evidence.
this also applies to the still photographer. It cannot be captured the screen in any way. I noted video recording, but I intend as well as no still capture of any of the monitors during the publication of 12.1. All right.
Well, this is our punishment for your screw-up, Judge.
And
Isn't that
to
awesome?
the stage, just let me know if you're ready. Let's go ahead and play it now.
Just a easy bunch of morons. All this over evidence that had been released back in April. We at least get to hear the evidence, right? Whew. We got quite a few people in here. I'm sure a lot of you guys are new. Welcome to the channel. Thank you all so much for being here. Please hit that like button and that subscribe button so we can keep doing this and having a good time, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Yes, she's good. I mean, I can hear them and all, but nothing's happening. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a public hearing anymore, all because the judge decided to make a ruling on something that was released a long time ago. Oh, there's just no audio on this video? Oh, okay, well, that sucks. So what's even the point in allowing audio? Sucks. But yeah, anyway, let's get that number on up. I appreciate y'all being here. I think there's got to be at least one non-subscriber in this crowd, right? Just clicky. Give it a little tap, tappy. Tap, tap, taparoo. Oh, man. We're having a good day today, right, guys? Like to hope so. Like to hope that everybody in here is having a pretty good, sunny, bright, good day. Yeah, there's just no audio. It sucks. I mean, I can hear these people smacking away. If I'm very quiet, you can hear them. See? There you go. I'm not sure what video this is. This is some sort of security footage, but yeah, the judge made a bad call today, and now we're not going to get to see any evidence. We don't see any evidence today on the final freaking day of this hearing. No evidence. No, I understand, Amber, for sure. If it was on something that was legitimately released that had not been released to the public, shown in the courtroom, I'd totally understand, and I would give Tyler Robinson the benefit of the doubt. I'd say the defense team did the right thing. But the fact that this letter has been public since April, and then they showed it in the courtroom yesterday, and they're like, oh, that was an egregious, oh, this wasn't supposed to be out there. It's like it's been out there. It's like this was nothing new. You know what I mean? That's what irritates me. It was on evidence that has been released. The only thing that hadn't been released was the actual handwriting of the letter. We had the transcript of the letter in its fullest. But the actual handwriting of the letter was not released. But now, oh no, we saw that Tyler Robinson has decent penmanship. Oh my goodness. What a revelation. Oh, you mean to say, that's what we learned, is he actually doesn't have bad handwriting. That's what we learned from that. As for everything in the letter, we already knew everything in the letter. It's been published. It was just typed instead of the handwritten letter itself. That's why I'm just really, really, really irritated with the judge's ruling. He should have been like, look, this has been out there. There's nothing new that was provided to the public. They got no new information off of this accidental showing of the letter. Therefore, what was the damage done? They should have argued damages. What damage was done to Tyler Robinson? Nothing. Okay, well then there's nothing that there was a mistake. I told them not to air it, but they accidentally aired it. However, they didn't air anything that was actually new. Okay. Cool. Now we got to be punished for it. Just so stupid. Hey, Daka Jocko. I hope so. I hope I would destroy him. We'll have to see what happens one of these days. Hey, didn't see. Were you the one who requested me do the Megadeth song? Is that you? Because, yeah, I've been practicing it a bit. Let me warm it up here. Something like that. Dang it. And then I messed it up. I played it so flawlessly, too. That's what's irritating. All right, hold on. Something like that, right? Oh, wait. You guys can't even hear it. I'm dumb. I'm done. Hangar 18 is great. Absolutely love Hangar 18. Old MTV themed piece sells. Heck yeah. All right, let's see if I got this down now. Gotta get my hands all warmed up. In my darkest hour, Cliff Burton. Cliff Burton was just such a good bass player. But Danny Trejo of Metallica is definitely the best guitarist in the whole band. That's hilarious to me. You know what I mean? But he's actually really, really, really high skilled. Danny Trejo, however you say his last name, you know, his skill level is so much higher than anybody in Metallica by a long shot. Second best guitarist is James Hetfield, and then followed up by Kirk Hammett. I don't think he cares even about playing guitar anymore. I'll be honest. I really don't think he does. I don't think he even likes it. It's just kind of an odd situation seeing him play. I think he looks at Metallica as just a job these days that he can't wait to retire from. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. That's just kind of how he comes off, you know? In interviews, stuff like that, he's not like, I don't know, doing anything crazy. He's not really excited about much, you know? You don't see him in very many interviews either these days. It's just, it kind of sucks, to be honest. I wish he... But, I mean, it's his choice, you know? I get it. He's old man now. He deserves to definitely be able to sit down and enjoy his million, you know? I totally get that. And he knows if he leaves the band, there are too many fans that would just be like, oh, well, it's not Metallica anymore. Though they get somebody like Timu to join them, I would disagree. I think if they ended up getting someone like Timu in their band...
All right, and that concludes the playing of...
Metallica's...
Stacey Exhibit 12.1 video
oh, man, I would love
transmission
it.
may resume.
I would love it.
Just let me know when that is live. All right, thank you.
I think Andrew Wilson's funny, though, at least.
Does either party need the benefit of the record?
All right, are we here? Are we back? Are we going on break? Is that what's happening?
No, Your Honor.
Good Lord.
So this preliminary hearing is continued to September 1st at 10 a.m. for an in-person hearing. The court will allocate up to 4 hours total for argument. That's encompassing both parties. Does the defense request that Mr. Robinson be physically present for that hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
We're moving on. We're really moving on.
Thank you. The court appreciates the professional,ism civility,
So we got
and
an extra
respect
day
shown by
added for the
counsel, the
prelim.
parties, and all persons in attendance throughout these proceedings. As there are no matters, no further matters before the court, this proceeding is adjourned until September 1st at 10 a.m. Good afternoon to you all.
All right.
Okay, that's it. We're done. I thought we would get a ruling today. I thought the September 1st thing was to kind of just establish a few more things. I didn't think it was still part of the preliminary hearing. I thought this was kind of I thought it was going to be like, hey, we're going to, how would I put it? We're going to have a hearing about how the decorum of the trial was going to go, is what I thought September 1st would be. So I guess that's it. I guess that's all. That is wild. Hey, if we have 2 more subscribers, though, let's end this live stream on 30,100 if possible. Is that possible, guys? If not, totally cool. Not going to freak out or anything. I swear to God. No. No, that'd be funny. But yeah, Eddie Van Halen or Angus Young? Who is your favorite? Joe Satriani? Oh, man. So by far, Eddie Van Halen, number 1. 100%. Number 2 would definitely be Joe Satriani, a very close number 2. Angus Young is, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. Angus Young, he's not really a skilled guitarist, is what I'd say. He's a great riff writer. He's a really decent riff writer. I mean, you know, but it's not like, you know, I mean, it's, when you're playing on, I could probably do this off the top of my head. So maybe the whole thing is over. Good. Okay, so.
God has sent an electric.
However that
You
is.
can have my Venmo account.
And I mean, I could just kind of, I've never played it before. I've never played Back in Black on guitar. You know what I mean?
You already know.
So,
No, you're.
let's look up the actual tabs. Back in Black tabs. Let's see how close I was. Not the solo. No. There we go. So it'd be, that's not right. I can instantly tell that's not right. Then it goes. Oh. It's even easier than I thought it was. I overcomplicated it by going. Just went down that normal, yeah, that would be, that E? That is E. So it's an E, E pentatonic, you know? But it's just, I was, tritone off. But in reality, it's just, I was like, which is just a little bit more skilled, but he even took the easier way out. So I'm not complaining about that. Oh, we got the 30,100. Thank you, guys. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you all so much. Oh, man. Absolutely love you guys. You all are amazing. Absolutely amazing. So it's, yeah. So it's like... Then it'd be, so... What? Really? That's it? That does not sound right. These tabs got to be off, right? This doesn't sound right to me. Is that really that? Really? So it's, So really? So it's just... So it's just that's it. Wow. It's easy stuff, and it's catchy. You know, nothing wrong with that. I mean, the thing about it is Angus Young can play guitar better than any pop artist. I mean, there's that fact, you know what I mean? I would much rather have AC/DC all day, any day, every day than listen to pop music. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even a competition. I blast AC/DC all the time in my car. You know what I mean? I love that old school stuff. I'm just saying, from a technical perspective, they're just not technical players. But they weren't trying to be. And they don't need to be. You know what I mean? Like, AC/DC wouldn't be AC/DC if they were ripping, like, 9,000 solos and being highly technical. I just prefer technical music because that's just what pleases my ear. And, you know, whenever I get to play really cool, fun stuff like that, you know, it entices me. I'm just that kind of person, I guess. But you can't trash AC/DC. There's nothing to trash them about. They have the energy. They have the show. They play their instruments. They are in sync. You know what I mean? It's not auto-tuned. It's so much better than the modern music we get today. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you'll never hear me complain about AC/DC. I'm just putting, you know, when it comes to guitar tier lists of skill, there are just some guitarists that are better than others, and it's simply because they chose to be better. If Angus Young sat down and worked on his guitar skills every day, he'd be every bit of the guitarist that Timu and Yari and Yngwie Malmsteen, Joe Satriani, and Van Halen would be. I mean, guitar is not a legendary thing that people put out there. A lot of people think that there are legendary guitarists that just can't be touched. It's like, nah, that guitarist just worked harder than everyone else. It's achievable. It's very much achievable. Look at the modern day greatest guitarists today, like of the younger generation. That would be what's his name? He just left All That Remains. Jason Richardson. Jason Richardson, arguably one of the greatest guitarists alive right now. Same with the guitarists for who are the guys that play the nylon string guitars now? Dang it, why can't I think of their name? Polyphia. Tim Henson. Tim Henson, one of the best guitarists alive right now. He got there because he worked at it. He wasn't born with the guitar in his hands, you know? People are really weird about that stuff because you don't think about that. Like, imagine this. You know who's greater than any guitarist to have ever lived? Bach, Beethoven, Paganini. John Williams right now, arguably one of the greatest musicians alive. My personal favorite musician of all time, Nobuo Uematsu. Nobody can touch him in my eyes. I love his music. He makes the best, prettiest, most beautiful sounding music ever, in my opinion. He made every single song pretty much that is played on any Final Fantasy game for the most part. There are other artists that come in later on, and I think he's kind of retired now. But, I mean, Nobuo just, what a legend. And you know who inspired Nobuo? Dream Theater. That's right. The person whose guitar that I am holding is the one who inspired Nobuo Uematsu, one of the greatest composers, in my opinion. Isn't that kind of crazy? Oh, yeah. Randy Rhoads, phenomenal guitarist. But even Randy Rhoads wasn't up there, but he tried to be. Randy Rhoads tried to go and be the best guitarist. He was going to quit Ozzy Osbourne's band and then died in a fiery plane crash that night. Kind of strange, right? I'm surprised Candace Owens hasn't done a series on that about how Ozzy Osbourne ended up killing Randy Rhoads or something, right? But obviously the pilot ended up dying, so, I mean, there's that. But there's that. And then also there is, the fact that he was going to go to college and get his degree in musical theory. That's what he wanted to do instead of go along with Ozzy and become super rich. So, dang right, Randy Rhoads would, if he had survived, if he had not died in that plane crash, there is no doubt in my mind that Randy Rhoads would have been the absolute greatest of the greatest. No doubt. Dimebag Darrell, too. Dimebag Darrell was always seeking to push bounds and get better at guitar. And then he was assassinated on stage. It's unfortunate. So his skill level got capped by that. But it wouldn't have been. Dimebag Darrell would have been so much better than he was in 2024 or 2004. 2026 Dimebag Darrell, oh my God, I could only imagine how good he would have gotten because he wasn't one to quit. By the way, we got a super chat here from Susie Q. Congrats, Artie. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. Y'all should, well, you all deserve the credit. You guys are the ones who did it. Thank you guys. Seriously. I guess I'll be cutting this live stream down a bit. I'm going to go over a little bit here. So what did we learn from this entire court case? Well, we learned that Tyler Robinson, they have a lot of video of Tyler Robinson. We know that his mother, well, we didn't learn that from the court case, so I won't say that. But we do know for a fact that we learned the caliber of the round was confirmed, 30-06. We also know for a fact that it was a core lock round, a soft point, okay? Therefore, of course it's going to deform, and of course it's not going to punch all the way through if it hits bone. It's designed to be weaker than bone. That's the thing about it, and people will always gloss over it. They're not, B.B. King is a legend. Yes. B.B. King's skill levels are insane. I have to put that out there. Yes. I don't know if anybody can top B.B. King or not, because, I mean, you got Stevie Ray Vaughan, who I would say is definitely his equal. But yeah, B.B. King, that's a dude who just knew what he was doing. Jimi Hendrix, very good guitarist, yes. His skills of songwriting are way above his guitar skills, though. As for Jimi Hendrix guitar skills, there's nothing... Learning how to play Jimi Hendrix songs is actually really not too difficult. He's an upper intermediate player for sure. But if you could go through and learn all of his songs, they're not that hard to play. You know what I mean? But his songwriting skills, I mean, dude invented an entire genre, and very few have even really been able to replicate it. So that tells you a lot. Not to mention, you can't argue with the guy's fame. Like, he's famous for a reason, because he made insanely skilled music, I'd say, as a whole. As a, not an orchestration, but as a composer. The stuff Jimi Hendrix composed, unbelievable. And that's the thing, is people confuse his unnaturally crazy gifted songwriting for guitar skill. And that's just not quite the case. A lot of people are like, he's the greatest guitarist. Not greatest guitarist. I would definitely put him up there with One of the greatest rock stars of all time, though. When it comes to songwriting, I mean, geez, how many other people have done that? Now, Prince's guitar skills, super good, super high up. You know what I mean? Like, Prince is a much, much, much better guitarist by far. But Prince's music too is just so good. So good. And that's not even my genre of music, you know what I mean? I don't really listen to that stuff very much. But as a musician, when you go in and you look at that stuff, you cannot deny the unbelievable amount of skills, the unbelievable amount of voicings, harmonies, and stuff like that they came up with that's just so unorthodox. And that's the cool stuff. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I like orchestrations, epic metal, like Rhapsody of Fire is a great example. If I could just show you guys, like, I'm going to pull up Ben Shapiro here in a second, then I'll have to hop off here. But, like, you can just hear, like, let's do the Earled Sword. You know what I mean? Just the intro real quick. It's a little too loud. Let's do that again. So it's like... And I can't play too much of that, unfortunately, because I will get a copyright strike. But just epic, you know what I mean? And then let's get to the... I bet the chorus is right here. Just stuff like that, just awesome. Just layers upon layers of, like, stuff like that. Woo, Rush. Yeah. Yeah, playing Rush, good luck, man. Getting to drums, but check out, yeah. Wait, Anika Niles covering for Neil on Rush Tour? Ooh, nice. Absolutely. Yeah, playing Rush is akin to playing Dream Theater. Like, I covered, the only cover I actually have up on my music channel, which I need to do this again. It's just because I haven't had time. Like, why do these guys get more coverage than me? Like, why? Look at this, 832 subscribers, and they're only the topic. They're not even the actual channel. You know? There I am. I got 1,000 subscribers. The only cover I've done is the Dream Theater solo cover, And, great timing here. Yep, okay, my lights were definitely brighter. My lights were definitely brighter back then. These lights are dimming. That's what's happening. These are cheap. I need to buy new light bulbs. I was wondering, that you could tell, but I'm using my orange amp here. Ola England reacted to this too. He was freaking out because I was using his tuner as well. But, let's show the fun stuff. Like this part, I think, is the fun one. Oh, wait, not there. But I can't show too much. I think this is the part. I love that. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah. I should get a mini guitar? Like, what kind of mini guitar? Dream Theater, Cat Scratch Fever. Have you seen the cover of Cat Scratch Fever? Shoot. It was Nitro. The Michelangelo Batio guy. It's some very redundant guitar playing, in my opinion, but he is very skilled. But it's just all shred, no melody, and you gotta have melody. You know what I mean? But their cover of Cat Scratch Fever is amazing. Not gonna lie. All right, we gotta go. We gotta look at Benny boy. Billy. Let's go see Billy. Oh, also, I want to pull up. I want to pull this up too. I want to just show you guys. I do not condone mass flagging or anything like that. I'm saying this right now. But I am seeing this dude violate X terms of service by, watch this. Oh, look, advertising on Joe Rogan. Hey, advertising on Libs of TikTok. Hey, advertising on Alex Jones. Hey, we're advertising on this guy. I don't know who it is. Advertising on the FBI. Advertising on C-SPAN. Advertising on New York Post. Advertising on whoever the crap this is. advertising on Bricks News, advertising on Rupert Lowe, look at this, advertising on the web, advertising Happy Punch. I don't know who that is either. Advertising on Teresa's Post, because why not? Whoever this is this even a famous person? No. 3,000 subscribers. That's spam on there. Like, the millions of subscriber accounts I can understand you kind of advertising on, right? Because, hey, they got millions of subscribers. You know, what are they missing out on? But a 3,000 subscriber person on X you're advertising on? What is happening? This, in my opinion, absolutely is spam. And it's ridiculous that you're abusing it like this, dude. This is petty. Look at this dude, Rothmus. 675,000. Oh, okay, so he's famous, but still. Advertising on Eric Spracklin. He's advertising on One American News here. He's advertising on, just everything. What does this have to do? This is just violence, and then it's just okay, cool. Why are we doing that? USCIS, advertising here. And I mean, 40, he just keeps going and going and going and going and going. Everything about him is just spamming on people's pages. This is wrong. You can't do this. And X is doing nothing about this. I have never spammed like this a day in my life. And yet, here we are still. How far did I scroll down, guys? An hour ago. Bro, what are you doing? And why is X doing nothing about this? How far down can I go, guys? How far down can I go on this list? Let's just find out. Actually, let's speed it up. You guys see how small this is right over here, over my shoulder here? Look at that. Look at how tiny that is. That's how far down we are. And let's stop. Bam. Still advertising himself. There's no way he could be doing this himself like this, right? He's got somebody running his account, spamming. If he spent all this time spamming his live stream, how in the world could he be live? So yeah, I agree. He does have a bot, spamming the crap out of himself. Surprised he's not doing it on my posts. I don't like this. I do not like this. I don't like that he's violating TOS like this. I don't like that I have been banned multiple times on X for spam and being a bot when I've never done anything like this, and yet here he can just advertise his channel on every single person's post. We're still going down the list. Still going down the list, and you just see his advertisements right there. Here's one. Here's one. And still, bam, here we are. 4 hours ago now. Still advertising his crap. Look at this. X, is this not an issue at all? Is this just okay? We could just violate TOS now? Is that where we're at on X? For real? I'm gonna uninstall X and get rid of my account if stuff like this keeps happening. Not even kidding. What's the point? It's nothing to me anymore. X is not banning the people who are abusing it, but they will ban the people and they will continually charge an old account of mine because I was a premium member on my old account. It took me 9 months of arguing with X before I finally just had to call my bank and say, hey, unfortunately, I have to block all X transactions. In order for me to be a member on this account, I have to have a credit card. Yeah, that's what I have to use. I can't even use my own bank anymore. And if they ended up banning this account and doing that, then I'd have to call my credit card company and say, hey, you got to ban X and not let them take out any more money. That's not appropriate. I shouldn't have to do that. And then that'll be my last straw ever. I'll never become a member on X again after that. So X is walking a fine line with me right now. A fine line. So, I don't know. You would not believe Instagram. My mother in her 70s showed me what she came across. Babies. Yeah. I've seen that stuff too, ALS. I've been wanting to do videos over it. The problem is YouTube, first of all, will not let me talk about that subject. Second of all, they would derank any video. And then third of all, it could get my channel deleted because I even dared mention the CP that's being shown on Facebook and Instagram. And that's the reality. I'm sure a lot of people know about it, but I mean, nobody's addressing it, and I don't know how to. I do not know how to address that. I would need to get like Asmongold or someone like that and get in contact with him. And someone that's super famous that would get so much pushback if they got banned or in trouble for talking about it. But I have no access to any of those people. I'm too small of a channel. So it sucks. I did a video a long time ago to bring awareness, and it backfired badly. And let me show you how it backfired. Check this out. You go to my videos, you go to popular, look at this. Nude yoga, 22 million views. That's what's happened here. And let me show you the video. It's very short. Second.
Did you find a secret?
This is Justin Bonnets, the vocalist of Tala, by the way. If you guys are fans of Tala, this is a real dude right here. I love this dude to death. He is amazing. I talk to him all the time. You know, he's just a phenomenal, wonderful person. Everyone that's into metal should check out Tala. Phenomenal band. By the way, the son of the person who created Tala, his dad, well, his name is Max Portnoy. His dad is Mike Portnoy, the drummer of Dream Theater. So, pretty cool, you know, pretty cool. I did. I found a way around YouTube's algorithm here, and it is called nude yoga. I'm not even kidding.
I love
it
this.
will blow your mind if you search that.
Nude yoga. Why is
Yeah.
this allowed?
Yeah.
There's cooch everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is mind-blowing.
Are they ad restricted?
It appears that they may be ad restricted here. I'm not seeing any ads pop up.
But I also
And then
had
again, I logged into an account of mine that I don't know if this account is connected. Because I pay for YouTube, at the time it was called YouTube Red, but now it's YouTube Premium. And it doesn't show advertisements, so I wasn't able to tell. But yeah, it's just his reaction. He's like, nude yo. He types it in, he's just like, yo, it's just available. And the thing about it is your kids can just type that in on YouTube and they'll see everything uncensored. It's 100% uncensored. If I were to type in nude yoga into this bar right now, you know what would happen to me? I would get permabanned off YouTube probably. That's what would happen. And yet it's on YouTube. I can't show parts of YouTube on YouTube that are on YouTube. Think about that. That's crazy. And that's why you don't get to see it here. Yeah. Just crazy, crazy stuff, you know? Crazy stuff. Gold ship? Why did this pop up? What? I didn't open anything called gold ship. Wait, can I? Oh, it opens a tab if I just hit my center button. I don't have to hit control click. See, normally I have to hit control on my keyboard, and then I click, and then it opens a new tab. But I didn't know I could just center click my mouse and do that. That saves me a whole click. That saves my left hand. That's wild. Okay, let's see Ben Shapiro.
Is a highly important show. Today, we are going to uncover the real murderer of Charlie Kirk. It's time.
Heck yeah.
We've been...
So it's a 27-minute video. I'll probably have to, like, stream it later and stuff. The wife has to catch a meeting. I'm glad the court ended on time because I don't have anything else to necessarily cover. But, yeah, yeah, exactly. Isn't that crazy, Dempsey? Like, isn't that wild? Like, yeah. You could still... Oh, I'm willing to bet you could still look it up. You know what? We'll find out. I'll brave it. Luckily, you can't see anything through sound. Oh, they put blurs on the screen. So they blurred. Okay, check it out. They blurred it, so it's all blurred now. That's what they've done. But it's still uncensored and still on YouTube. So there is that. Isn't that something? Let's see if it still shows anything. Hold on. Technically speaking, okay, so they're censoring themselves now. Okay. Grab another one. That's not censored. That's not censored at all. Hold on. Yep, that's not censored. Nope. Nope, completely uncensored. 2.6 million views. It was uploaded 4 months ago. 100% uncensored. On YouTube. Yeah, it's still a thing. It's still a thing. I wonder if I can... I have this. I could pull up Edge here, probably. I think... Let me see if I can go to YouTube. Do I have an account on YouTube at all? I do not have an account. Okay. Type in yoga. This video makes me confirm my age. Okay. How about this one? Nope. How about I get the link from the video that's uncensored? Specifically. And then we'll try that. Oh, it showed it for a brief second and then, but I still managed to see something. If any kid is savvy. Yep. Hold on. Let's see if it can show anything. Bam, screenshot. Nope. Nope. Almost. Almost. Nope. Yep. Dang it. I can line it up. Okay. Not fast enough. Sometimes I'm too fast. Okay. Flexes are... So close. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like they've age restricted them. There. Nope, wait. There. Should be muted. Actually, yeah, this is not age restricted at all, and she's just in her undergarments. That shouldn't be appropriate. So people that are underage could watch that. Okay. There are some that are not age restricted. There's definitely a few in here that are not age restricted at all. This one's not age restricted. Let's see what happens. Yep, that's not age restricted at all, and you can see through her underwear completely. I'm not going to tell people what video this is. Yep, yeah, you could just see everything. Oh, that's great. Not age restricted at all. So yeah, there is definitely not age restricted content in there. That's insane. How is it we're still in... How is it we made it to 2026? When did my video come out on this subject? Let's go back to Justin here. This came out 5 years ago in 2020. So it's going to be 6 years. It's going to be 6 years and YouTube still has not gotten age restriction on this stuff. I'm completely irritated by it. Wait, really? Google's got one by itself now? Or like as a package? I should check that out. Instead of using YouTube Premium, use the Google Premium. Definitely have to look at that. That is wild, though. That is wild. So Ben Shapiro's got that. We covered Project Constitution here. Wait. I don't know why this is up. Is there anything else? Dang. I think we're golden here. All right, guys. So I'm gonna take. I don't know if I'll release any more videos today or not. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna be a little selfish here today, guys. I am gonna ask you all right after this to go to and support my newest video because I think the live stream kind of killed the momentum, to be honest. So that happens. if we can. I may have to retitle it. I think I need to put Candace Owens Gets Destroyed or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see what I do with the title after a bit. So here is the link to my video right there. You guys should definitely go watch it. It's got a lot of great stuff in the video. I reveal a lot from yesterday and today. We go over some good arguments, and it's only 15 minutes long. You guys should definitely go check that video out. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you guys so much for everything you all have done. I am very, very thankful to have you guys as my audience. I could not have asked for a better audience. Thank y'all for getting me over 30,100 subscribers. That's just crazy. I cannot wait to get to 40,000, and I think we can do it. I think we could get there. I think we could get everybody to subscribe, to like. We'll push this out there. We have got to expose Candace Owens for what she is. We have got to expose Baron Coleman. We've got to expose Ian Carroll. Those three are the top dogs, and like Project Constitution, I think if we stay on him and he continues to violate X rules, I think that will be most beneficial to us. Because if he's going to just abuse X, well, then he's going to find out. And you know what? I guarantee you Candace Owens will cry foul if that happens. I guarantee you she will. I would bet you anything. Let's find out and see if she does. I think that would be a huge mistake for her. So check out the link in the comment section there. Everybody jump over to this video. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'll see you all here in, well, either tonight's episode or tomorrow. Whichever one depends. I am very tired. I'm going to take a nap. Thank you all again, and I'll see you guys here in the next one. Later.